From the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Jeff Rust with your Sports Center update. First on The Fan, the NBA playoffs continue tonight with a pair of Game 3s. First up, the Pacers hosting the Cavaliers, who hope to avoid a 3-0 series deficit. Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, DeAndre Hunter, all game-time decisions. It's a 4:30 tip on ESPN. The Cavs, though, are 5-point road favorites. Then it's the Thunder and Nuggets from Denver. That series tied at a game apiece. 7 o'clock tip on ESPN. The Nuggets are 5.5-point home dogs. The Mariners are back at it today, starting a 3-game set, hosting the Blue Jays. Luis Castillo on the bump for Seattle. Kevin Gausman for Toronto. 6:40 first pitch. The Mariners have won each of their last 9 series and are 18-6 since April 8th. A signature event this weekend on the PGA Tour, the Truist Championship from the Philadelphia Cricket Club. Second round, Kashmir Keith Mitchell is your leader. He's at 12 under par overall after a 3 under 67 today. He's 1 stroke clear of Shane Lowry. Sepp Straka all by himself in third place at 10 under par. You've got a bit of a log jam, 5 strokes back at 3 under, tied for fourth, including Justin Thomas, Rory McIlroy, and Colin Morikawa. More sports scores and stories in 60 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
This is your home for year-round NFL coverage. The Odyssey app and Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan. This is Danny and Dusty.
Meringatang is going to be a thing.
You're not coining anything new.
With Danny Meringue and Dusty, the Fan Man Hera.
I'll throw some monkey sounds in there and call it good.
The old Danny Meringue pie?
Danny and Dusty on the Odyssey app and 1080.
Yeah, this is going to be awesome.
The Fan.
Good afternoon! Hey, welcome in. Happy Friday. A warm Friday.
Love it.
Feels nice here.
Love it.
Like 75 degrees or something like that today.
Wonderful.
Woo.
And it wasn't butt cold this morning.
Yes, it was. You just didn't wake up early enough.
No,
I will say that, but it
wasn't
warmed
30
up pretty quickly
it
this
wasn't
morning.
37 this morning. It was like 46. It was like 10 degrees warmer.
It was cold this
Yeah,
morning.
no, it wasn't like, oh my God, it could
was
almost freeze.
But
That's
it
what
did
was
warm up
yesterday.
fast.
I
Yeah,
feel like it
that's
went up a
Rust is
good
saying.
like 6-7 degrees in the matter of about an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was cold, though.
No.
I'm not going to say it was warm this morning.
No, but it wasn't, oh my God, I could cut glass cold.
I will.
Coward.
45 degrees is not warm.
It's not warm, but it's not
It's
freezing
cold.
I could cut glass in here.
It's cold, man. Says the guy who likes to sit in a room at 63 degrees.
He's not wrong.
Yeah.
Not wrong.
Just psychopath behavior.
In shorts.
Yeah. Psycho behavior.
Mhm.
Just crazy.
My wife is taking it upon her. We have like a little space heater,
Mm-hmm.
and she just closes her office door and brings the space heater in there when she works, because she works from home.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I'm just going to keep this room warm. And if you walk in there, it feels like it's 75 degrees. I'm like, ugh.
I got home yesterday and somebody had turned on the. We don't have central air in the house, so we have a couple of like those floor units that connect to a window via
Oh, yeah.
like a duct hose,
Yeah.
right? So it was in our bathroom, and somebody had turned it on and then closed the bathroom door.
Huh.
This is nice and chilly in the
It was
bathroom.
like, so it's like, what,
It's a freezing bathroom.
what are we doing here?
Yeah. That's not good.
That don't make no sense.
That's like the one place I don't want it to be cold.
It's like staying up before you wipe, man.
Well, no, but I don't want to sit down on a warm toilet seat
No. But
because that is disconcerting.
I'll tell you right now, sitting down on the
Even at
ice
home.
cold toilet seat.
Wait, hold on.
is-
You just said you'd rather sit on a cold toilet seat than a warm one?
Yes.
Oh no.
No.
That's one of the few times
out.
I'm like, I'm out.
Dude, you need to put your little tushy on one of those Japanese Ferraris
The
that they
heated
have.
bidet seats.
Those toilets that they have
Mhm.
are in Japan are amazing.
I mean, more specifically, more so for like in public. But
Well, you're thinking
I
about.
don't want to be
think
putting
they-
my arse down on a seat that just had an arse on it 30 seconds before.
I
you
think
don't
they
want
should.
you want self-heated, not heated by somebody else.
Yes.
A warm toilet seat is a game changer.
It does make you feel
Yeah.
more comfortable. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Plus, first thing in the morning, it's a nice little wake you up. You know what
Yeah,
I
see, I
mean?
don't like that.
Yeah.
I like
Oh,
this-
that's what wakes you up?
yeah.
I didn't say that's
Woo!
what it. That's not what does it on its own, but it's a little help. That's like step one.
I mean, Is this before or after you eat your grape nuts?
Yeah.
Oh, this is before.
Okay,
This
before.
is right out of bed.
Right out of bed.
Yeah.
All right. Well, happy lunch break, everybody. You just learned a lot about Jeff Rust.
Yeah. Cold toilet
Hey,
seats.
we didn't
though,
get too graphic there.
No, you didn't.
I'm out on the cold toilet seat.
Yeah, I'm not. No. Once you go warm toilet seat, you're never want to
No.
gonna want to go back.
But again, I want it to be my body heat, not somebody
Yeah,
else's.
no. I get that part of it.
Yeah.
It is weird when you get on a toilet seat after somebody else has just freshly gotten off it, and you're like, you can tell it's not like, oh, it's room air temperature warm. No. That's the heat and sweat of another human being that has
Yeah.
cooked that toilet seat warm.
Mm-hmm.
Terrifying.
So right after Jeff says, "I didn't take it too far," Danny just did.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, that's never happened before.
Mm-mm.
Not on this show.
No.
Habitual line stepper.
Uh huh. Mm-hmm. You're like our own little Draymond Green over there.
Wow. Wow. Except for I take responsibility for my actions.
Got an angry white man over there.
Well,
right?
Where's the lie? Where's the lie? Spot the lie.
Whoa. I take responsibility for my actions.
Well, Draymond Green did too, but he just
No.
said I'm not
No, he
angry
doesn't,
because he said
no.
no. He said I'm not angry because of it.
I mean,
Doesn't make him angry.
I mean, isn't that what he did?
What?
Got angry?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no.
No, he
No.
did.
According to him, he wasn't angry. That's
well-
just how he exists.
The
Similar to
soundbite
you.
that we'll get to later will prove otherwise.
Similar to you. It's not. He's not angry. It's just who he is. You know.
I mean, that part of it I don't disagree with.
See, it's not who you. It's just what happens.
I'm self-aware.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know.
All right. Well, there we go. So Draymond and Dusty.
There you go. That's actually my new co-host. Is Danny and Draymond.
Oh, you and Draymond Green.
I'm out.
That would be comedy.
I'm
Oh,
out.
man.
If that happened, I would
Oh.
love it. You would be huffing and puffing all day long.
Oh, but here's the thing.
You'd be like just moving in your seat.
I love Draymond.
I do too.
I like,
Until he does his BS.
See, he's just, I just can't. He's insufferable.
oh, he is. He
I just
absolutely
can't.
is. But he's my kind of insufferable.
He
Where
just
like
grinds
Dylan
my
Brooks
gears.
is nobody's insufferable kind of insufferable. Draymond Green is my kind of insufferable.
No, he just grinds my gears.
No, I trust me, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
They need to release like all jersey sales in the NBA.
Mm.
Because I would love to see where like Dylan Brooks ranks on jersey sales in the NBA. Like if you went, how many? There's like 554 players in the NBA or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If you went down the list, where would he be at? You know, because I think there'd be
I'd love to see the-
surprising people in front of him where you're like, really?
I'd love to see the GPS of the people who bought his jerseys. And I bet you outside of Canada it's very sparse. And it's a certain kind of person that just loves, like the people that love to be hated. That's who buys a Dylan Brooks jersey. Like you love to be a contrarian.
Well, Danny on the toilet would buy a Dylan Brooks jersey because you just get angry at people on the internet all day who are angry at you.
Well, that's
And you love it. You embrace
It's
it.
reciprocated.
You embrace it though.
I'm just sitting there minding my own business, trying to poop.
No, you're not. No, you are. That's when we've
comes
been
to
over this.
me.
We actively. Yeah.
It does.
I bet you Dylan Brooks would say the exact
Yes, he
same
would.
thing.
Whoa.
I don't bring this on.
Yeah.
I don't bring
No,
this
they,
on.
did you see? They did it first.
Fan text line. If Danny is Draymond, I'm going to need Dusty to start doing a lot more rational defending of his problem child. Yeah, because you're now Steve Kerr in this scenario.
That's right. That's right.
Coach?
Nah, I don't do the irrational defending like that.
Coward.
But look, we're here. We're having these discussions right now. I don't.
Unbelievable.
Coward
Unbelievable.
for not irrationally defending you.
Yeah, you don't have my back. Come on now.
No, we're gonna call it like we see it. We're more of Chris
Wow.
Finch.
Wow.
Did it work?
My light went out.
Did it work?
My light went out. Okay.
Did it work?
No, because my body doesn't heal like Aunt Edwards's does.
It worked with Ant Edwards
Thank God.
last night. That dude played awesome. Yeah, your body doesn't heal like I don't. That was we were going to talk about that, but
Yeah.
that was crazy.
Yeah, when you get stepped on so hard that your shoe leaves an indelible print on the floor,
That was nuts.
that's
man.
usually going to be more detrimental to your health. God, it's nice to be young.
Golly. Yeah. Yeah.
Turns out he's got Andre Miller ankles.
Mm-hmm.
Lace it up, keep going.
He sure. Yeah, that is true.
This is like the third time it's happened this playoffs.
Dude, what?
It's like the third time it's happened this playoffs already.
That he's been stepped on?
Yeah,
Like that?
LeBron fell on his foot. In the
I
last
remember
round.
that. I
And then-
remember
and
that.
then somebody else in the Lakers series stepped on him.
Was
when
it
he
the same
down.
leg? I don't remember.
No, I think it's left and right.
Man. All
So,
right.
it could be left twice and the right once. But yeah, he's been stepped on a bunch of times and he just keeps coming back.
So when the Timberwolves are eventually eliminated from the playoffs,
Mm.
and we get the LeBron statement from Ann Edwards, though,
About how he's playing injured.
we're going to go, oh, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, no, your ankle got inverted like 3 times. No, I understand.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
Instead of the LeBron where, did you see the people that were posting the pictures of when LeBron went down with that
Oh,
knee
peeking
injury,
through?
peeking through his hands?
Yeah.
Like, is anyone watching here?
Yeah.
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 Ah, man.
He knows. He knows.
He sure does.
Mm.
He sure does. And he's greatness.
He is.
He is greatness. It's just hard to be really good at any sport because people are going to take you down no matter what. Like-
Despite maybe being the best player to ever play the sport, people are still going to find holes in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very dumb.
Yeah. I mean, Tyrese Halliburton, overrated. He's like, wow, I mean, okay. I'm still really good.
Yeah.
Just, am I overrated now?
It's
Won a few games in a row.
It's the rings culture crap that I can't stand.
But even when they get the rings, they just find to take a quote from Jerry Colangelo's wife, they find a new slant.
Yeah.
And that's what they're going to pick up on.
I don't know. I want LeBron James to start wearing super big collared shirts.
I bet you will see it.
Just
I mean, he
huge
did
collar.
wear the AC/DC short pants suit.
Yeah, you
remember that
yeah.
look? He went down that
Mhm.
road. He wore,
Oh, like old, what is that, Angus Young?
he wore the suit.
Him
with
and
the short
Dwayne Wade
pants.
and somebody else did it. Like they tried to make it a thing, and it did not
Didn't take
work.
off.
There was some stylist somewhere that was really pushing that.
Westbrook
hard.
did it too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Russ was the other one.
Fetch wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, they really tried to make that happen, and it was a hard no.
The idea is sound.
Sure,
You know, like
if you want to
dressy but shorts.
if you want to look like a toddler.
Which
Yeah.
is exactly how I looked when I was the ring bearer in my aunt's wedding when I was like 3 years old.
Did the shorts on?
Little all
Tuck
white
shorts?
tuxedo, but then it wasn't pants, it was shorts.
Wore little short pants.
I was adorable.
Little chubby legs.
I bet you
Yeah,
were.
my little bowl cut when I was
Yeah.
like 3.
I bet you were.
I did that.
1979.
I did that when I was 4 at my uncle's wedding. I was
Yeah.
the ring bearer, and I had a full white tux.
Mm.
but just with shorts instead of pants.
Mm.
I had the full on pants.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then again, my legs are so short; they were probably shorts. So can't
Yeah.
really get mad at that.
People were wise enough not to put me in a wedding when I was a kid.
Mm.
Not trustworthy.
They trusted me with a ring.
Yeah. That was a
It's a
That
bold
was a-
move.
bad decision.
Yeah.
That was bad.
What kind of kid is going to run off to Mount Doom?
Mine now.
My precious.
I can see little Danny running away. 50% of marriages end in divorce anyways. And that's when we knew he was into analytics.
Yep. There you go. The Genesis story. I like it. Like it.
Oh, that's too good. All right, today we got some stuff to get to. NBA playoffs. We had one game last night, and turns out Steph Curry matters.
Mm.
We got some pivotal games in the NBA playoffs tonight.
Yes, we do.
Holy guacamole! And we got a lot of football notes in nuggies that we need to get to, including
None of it good in the NFL.
Really.
Yeah.
Uh,
A lot of positive college football news, but NFL?
I think there's some good NFL news coming out
I mean,
of that.
it's good news. It's fun
Yeah.
to talk about, but
Well, one guy is a red flag,
woo,
and
buddy.
he's not doing anything to.
Assuage that.
No, people are going to start wondering. But also, there's a reason why Shedeur Sanders dropped so far in the draft. He's a backup quarterback. The NFL views him as a backup quarterback. Have you seen the coverage of him?
Mm.
That's why teams didn't draft him, is because he is taking away from the guys who are going to start.
It's the Tim Tebow stuff.
Yeah, it's 100% it. That's why teams didn't want to bring Tim Tebow in. If they did, they were saying, "Hey, bro, let's move you positions," and he's like, "Nah, it's gonna be a no for me, dog. I'll just go play baseball."
Well,
that didn't work either. And expansion in the college football playoff.
We all knew that was coming.
It's crazy, but I don't think we expected what we're seeing because I think this House settlement is swaying a lot of people to get on board what the Big Ten and the SEC want to do. Where we got to start, though, the Timberwolves, even their series with the Warriors at 1 apiece in a runaway fashion. And Ant Edwards almost lost his leg, and Draymond Green lost his damn mind. Again. Danny Dusty on the Fan. Minnesota Timberwolves even their series with the Golden State Warriors, 117-93 behind 24 points and 11 assists from Julius Randle last night. Yowzas.
Yeah, no, I mean that's like the best version of Julius Randle is he does have this playmaking ability and that he can when you kind of see him actualize is that he does see the floor well from the middle of the floor and he can create. He does have vision. He has the ability to make. When you talk about playmaking in the NBA, there's primary creators, there's secondary creators, there's ball movers, and then there's guys that really can't even make anything more than a very simple read and very simple pass. And a lot of that, everybody's like, oh, why can't you make this pass? I'm like, try making a pass around a bunch of 6'8" dudes who are freak athletes. You're threading the needle basically anytime you throw anything that's not an above the break, like dribble handoff.
So easy, though.
So easy, though.
So easy.
But Randall is look, he's not Jokic, but when he slows down and doesn't do the bull in the china shop routine all the time, because he's so physical, he does draw two very, very regularly. And when you do that and you can make the pass out of it, remember to draw this to locally, remember LaMarcus Aldridge's development when he started getting double teamed and it was just disaster after disaster after disaster. And you're just like, dude, he spent the entire offseason learning how to deal with double teams. And he didn't become like the best playmaker we'd ever seen out of it. But you saw him start he had, two sets of moves, one going middle, one going baseline. And when he started to do that little shimmy hop step into the middle, he would tease that shimmy knowing the second defender was coming and use that to set stuff up. And Randall can do a lot of the same stuff. And when he kind of gets in that mode, the Wolves just look better because they don't have a lot of creation because Conley has fallen off so much. And Ant, while can be a good creator, doesn't want to be.
Well, and that's really interesting you mentioned Mike Conley because Julius Randle gave a ton of credit to Mike Conley and former Trailblazer great Joe Ingles last night.
It's great. It's great. He's to be 50 years old and still come out and defend and play with the effort that he does. And I've talked all year about the leader that he is for our team and how he just kind of keeps us balanced. Him, Joe Ingles, those guys are like guys that like you don't necessarily. It might not even show up in the box sheet, and Mike, Mike, it might not necessarily show all the time and numbers and all that different type of stuff, but who he is for our team as far as a veteran, how he's able to, pull me to the side, how Joe's able to pull me to the side in a moment like that when I'm frustrated in the third quarter and, keep me level-headed, let me get my frustration out, but keep me level-headed and know that, all right, when we get back in the game, go to work.
I like hearing that from Julius Randle after the game because last night you saw it from Mike Conley where physically he doesn't have it anymore.
No.
But all of those little things that he does, he knows where he's exerting himself because he has Ant Edwards, because he has Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert on the offensive end. His energy is all going on that defensive side of the floor and as an organizer on the offensive end. And I thought that was a really good point by Randle to just say he can be the calming force to kind of just get us all recentered and back to where we're at. And you saw that play out over the game.
Yeah, no, and that's where the value of veteran experience comes from and the way those two guys, Ingles and Conley, see the game in general. Like, there's a reason why the Blazers traded for Joe Ingles when they did, even though he was coming off that injury, because they were looking for that kind of guy. Now, obviously, things went so many worse ways because he never was able to rehab and went on, blah, blah, blah. But even with Ingles not playing, he has a level of respect because he's the way he plays the game and the way he sees the game, the same with Mike Conley. It is something that young, old, doesn't matter. Guys are just gonna respect that because they play the game, they see the game the right way. And for all the talk about guys they just want to hoop, they want to do this. When you see guys who do the right things, even if they're not getting minutes, and play the game the right way in the minutes that they do get, you look like an a-hole if you don't follow in line.
Yeah.
And that's a real thing that happens in basketball. Like if you get selfish and you get dumb, it's a stark contrast.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to crap on the guy, but like that's when you see like Jalen Green for the Rockets just make dumb mistake after dumb mistake after dumb mistake, why it looks so bad. Because you're just like, dude, what are you doing? And Randall, in his earlier years, was very prone to this, putting his head down, going full running back, and trying to take on the entire team, where the maturity, the vision, the leadership of guys like Ingles and Conley have imparted on him as Randall has gotten older and more mature.
Well, we had 3 minutes of Quentin Post.
Brother, you had 3 minutes of everyone.
Yeah. But he started.
Yeah.
For the Golden State Warriors. That was the Steph's replacement. It was Quentin Post.
Yeah. Steve Kerr played 13 players in the first 14 minutes of the game.
He was trying to throw everything at him.
Searching.
That was the ultimate, like, okay, we're back to game one. We stole game one. We know we're not going to have Steph for a week. Wink, wink, nod, nod. We're going to try to see what happens. And what that ended up leading to was Draymond Green losing his S.
Yeah.
Again. This time it was Naz Reid with Draymond gets a technical foul because he elbows Naz Reid
purposefully in the face.
I mean, his arm was extended straight. He bends it, throws his elbow, and then straightens it back out. And then after getting teed up for it, has the audacity to go
face to face with Tyler Ford.
I can't believe that was a call. He was indignant about it.
Steph Curry had to be like, dog, are you kidding me? Like, I'm out right now. You can't do this. And then Steve Kerr had to take him out of the game.
It was the dumbest of dumb.
We have come full circle on the Draymond Green stupid experience. Think about the genesis of Draymond Green's stupidity. Steven Adams kicking him in the junk. Absolutely, for no reason, unable to control his limbs.
And his reaction in the moment and in post-game was completely off the mark.
Yes.
We'll get to that next. Here's Rust.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Jeff Rust with your Sports Center update. First on The Fan, the NBA playoffs continue tonight with a pair of Game 3s. First up, the Pacers hosting the Cavaliers, who hope to avoid a 3-0 series deficit. Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, and DeAndre Hunter, all game-time decisions for Cleveland. 4:30 tip on ESPN. The Cavs, though, still 5-point road favorites. Then the Thunder and Nuggets from Denver. That series tied at 1 game apiece. 7 o'clock tip on the old ESPN. The Nuggets are 6-point home dogs. The Mariners back at it today, starting a 3-game set, hosting the Blue Jays. Luis Castillo starting for Seattle. Kevin Gausman for Toronto. 6:40 first pitch. The Mariners have won each of their last 9 series and are 18-6 since April 8th. In the NFL, Browns GM Andrew Berry says running back Nick Chubb not expected to return to the team. We got a signature event this weekend on the PGA Tour, the Truist Championship from the Philadelphia Cricket Club. Second round play has finished. Kashmir Keith Mitchell leading the way at 12 under after a 3 under 67 today. Shane Lowry 11 under par. Sepp Straka 10 under. Included in those tied for fourth at 7 under are Rory McIlroy and Colin Morikawa, and Ricky Fowler is 6 under. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
Jump back to earlier parts of your favorite fan shows on the Odyssey app. The only way to rewind Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan.
Attention.
Draymond Green went all Draymond Green last night, throwing them bows at Naz Reid. Got teed up. That would be his 5th technical foul in 9 playoff games this season.
In what, four flagrants?
And by the way, that doesn't count as flagrants.
Yeah.
Where he should have been kicked out. They gave him a flagrant one game. Should have been another tech that he got run out of a game for.
So, as we were saying going in the break, we've come full circle on the Draymond Green circle of stupidity. It originated, remember, with Draymond Green's inability to control his limbs.
Yeah.
And we got one of the greatest lines ever from Steven Adams when he was asked about getting kicked in the junk about Draymond Green, and Steven Adams said, "It's not that big of a target, mate." I love Steven Adams.
I love him. I love Lamp.
Look, he the whole it's a natural motion. I can't control. Everybody knew he was so full of crap because he's the only guy doing it. And he's doing it repeatedly, kicking guys in the junk.
Yeah, like inadvertent elbows.
They happen.
I tend to give guys the benefit of the doubt. Like, okay,
you can tell when it's real and when it's not.
Even if it's close, I'm like, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. That wasn't last night.
No, I mean, you go through the Euro step through and you do the kind of rip through to the other side move, and every now and then you're going to catch somebody. And every now and then, it's done with some intent. You can tell. You can just tell when it is. You're clearing space because a guy's getting a little too close to you, and you just don't like it. But with Draymond Green, we have come full circle from him finally admitting that he did it. He did it purposefully. I'm sorry. I won't do it again. Blah, 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 blah. The whole redemption arc. Then he knocks out his teammate. We blame his teammate to the point of him getting traded.
Well,
he did call him a very expensive backpack for 30.
Well,
it's a great line.
I mean,
hasn't
Jordan Poole kind of proved that?
Well, I know, but it's still, he got slumped. This isn't Steve Kerr getting punched by Michael Jordan. For anybody that's never seen the video, Draymond Green damn near killed Jordan Poole.
Leveled him.
He knocked him out cold against the wall. It is violent.
Some people would call that a nice little Tuesday at the practice facility in Tualatin back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
In the early 2000s, there was some scuffles.
But those videos don't get out.
Well, they didn't have them back then.
Oh, they did.
They didn't have the...
Everybody with the cell phone cam.
Oh, no, they had the... when they built the PF out there, Paul Allen had the video cameras built in there so he could watch on his yacht.
Oh.
Yes, that was the whole thing, is that when PA did that, man, he could watch on his submarine. As crazy as that is. But then we had, Draymond getting tossed out and costing his team a title. And then the redemption arc after all of this BS last time. I'm going through counseling. I'm a better person. Om Young-Suk from ESPN did this big, deep profile about how Draymond Green is really figuring it out. He's actually a nice person, blah, blah, blah. I actually believe Draymond Green can be a nice person. I do.
I do too.
But what happens and transpires on the basketball court, it's not it's something wholly and totally different. And the way it is excused and dismissed is absolutely ridiculous. In the mirror that he looks at himself in, and what he sees, it is a funhouse mirror.
See, now, the thing is, when he comes out and says, I'm trying, I'm going through these things, it just sounds more like the abusive boyfriend that is trying to say the right thing to get through till the next point.
Look, I'm not going to lie. Draymond Green reminds me a lot of my 8-year-old son. Where he is a great kid. He is an awesome little man. When he is playing sports, something comes out of him sometimes that we have to be like, whoa, buddy. And we have to pull the reins back. And it's like, it's this flip that gets switch that gets flipped, and he is not this kind little kid. He's 8. He's going to grow out of it.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Draymond is the reason I'm terrified.
Yeah.
Because it's the same thing. Like, you hear Draymond talk, and he seems like a caring person who is funny, engaging, eloquent. He's smart. He has a lot of really good qualities and traits. But like
self-awareness, not one of them.
But like my 8-year-old, he doesn't like to take a lot of responsibility for what he does. This is what he said after the game last night, after elbowing Naz Reid, getting a technical foul, then getting in the face of the official.
Not an angry black man. I'm a very successful, educated black man with a great family. And I'm great at basketball. I'm great at what I do. The agenda to try to keep making me look like an angry black man is crazy. I'm sick of it. It's ridiculous.
And then he walked off.
Look, to put in the angry black man,
Playing the race card there, it's so despicable.
he's just an angry man.
Yeah. It's
He's
despicable that he did that.
he plays like an angry man. All those other things, he's right about. Like, he is educated, successful, a great basketball player, a great father and son, and all those things. All of those things are true.
Nobody's saying he's not those things.
But he is an angry man when he plays basketball. And if he owned that, I think people would look at him more like Charles Barkley than they do in the framing of Draymond Green, right? Where, like, Charles Barkley was always engaging, but Charles like, I'm not a role model. Yeah. Don't look at me. Like, he's throwing dudes out of windows of bars when he gets upset and he's mad. But Chuck also had a bit of awareness about him where he would own up to things too. And that is it. It has nothing to do with people's agenda. It's how you are reacting.
The guy that Draymond gets compared to the most, I would say, is Dennis Rodman. As far as like a guy who's not offensively talented, but just intrinsically so valuable because of what he does defensively and what he means to the team and their attitude and all those kind of things. Dennis Rodman never complained about being labeled a villain. He took all of his consequences. He nodded and took his punishments. Was he disruptive and doing all these things? Yeah, but the reason Michael Jordan went to Las Vegas to go get him during the playoffs was because he was a guy that always accepted his consequences. Always.
Yeah.
The self-awareness was there. There's no path where that has been there for Draymond Green. Brother, you purposefully elbowed Naz Reid in the face. 20,000 people in the arena saw it, and everybody on TV saw it. Yeah. You were the only person on the planet who doesn't think that you elbowed him on purpose. Everybody knows it because you've done it a dozen times, dude.
Yep. I feel like something that hasn't been covered as much this time around as it has been in past times is Draymond's propensity to get himself in bad situations where he gets that technical or gets kicked out of a game when Steph Curry is playing versus when Steph Curry is not. When Steph Curry is out of the game or like is known to be out of a game, I Googled it, and this is according to the AI overview. When Curry isn't playing, his technical foul rate is 26% higher.
Yes, it is. Like he is his woogie, his pacifier, his binky, whatever you want to call it.
His parent.
Yeah.
Well, and how about this? His ejection per game rate, 273% higher.
Yes. If Steph is not playing,
it's like when he's out there.
Real.
Yeah, he's his woogie.
Yeah. There were jokes made. I want to say it was two or 3 years ago when Steph got dinged up, and they were like, "Oh yeah, no, Dre's going to get tossed because they know that he can't win the game.
Yeah.
Without Steph, they can't win a game." And that was when Clay was still on the team.
And he kind of freaks out a little bit.
Yeah.
Kind of freaks out.
Well, because it highlights his shortcomings. When you don't have the greatest shooter of all time giving you this gravity, it makes him lesser of a player.
You can't waste a space on the floor offensively. I mean,
don't be wrong. Draymond is the hub. For all the talk about Steph Curry being a point guard, Steph Curry is not this great creator. He's just not. That is not what his strong suit is. If you take a look at the Warriors and their offense, it is a bicycle wheel. Now, Steph is the biggest spoke. It's not even close. But the hub of it and what everything revolves around in the middle of the floor is Draymond Green and his ability to play 4-on-3 and make decisions at a very high level.
They play through him, not to him.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, Draymond Green at it again. And I
going full angry black man actually pisses me off. It does. It's like, no. You don't get to use that here. No.
Well,
No, you went full blue-haired psychopath on that. That's what you
You-
did. You were crying, "Woe is me," and you want to take a shield that you can put up that you think is bulletproof. No, it's not that, dude. That's
He-
nasty work.
the problem that he had in that was that he said angry black man.
Mhm.
He's just angry when he plays.
Yeah.
And
And I've said it 1,000 times.
You know
I
what?
want Draymond Green on my team.
he's more like Bill Laimbeer because that was like Bill Laimbeer was a cheap shot artist.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, he's talked about it openly about the Jordan rules and what they
And
used to do to those
he
guys.
he never owned up to it at the
No.
time.
No.
He is in retrospect he has.
Yeah.
And as time has passed, he has. But it's kind of the same thing where it's just like when you're on the floor, you are a different person.
Mhm.
You're like a bucking bull in a rodeo where it's like those things can be gentle giants. You put that wrap around them, and well, boy, they're
Well-
not so gentle anymore.
And Lane Beer, in his post-playing career, as he became like a WNBA head coach and whatnot, became a lot more likable.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's like he was completely different person.
All right. Well, that was something, man. That was something last night. But the T-Wolves won.
There you go.
And
Back on
now-
track. And now, I mean, that game was hideous, by the way. We almost spent almost no time talking about it. The game was hideous.
Yeah.
With Steph off the floor, their offensive rating dropped to like a 84. With Jimmy on the floor, it was like a 92.
I'll tell you what, line for Saturday is Minnesota -5.5.
Oh, smash that.
Smash, smash, smash.
Triple smash.
Yeah, that seems like a no-brainer right
I
now.
have no idea. That's well, they're probably thinking of Ann Edwards maybe having a bit of an ankle injury because, he got stepped on so hard that his shoe, the insole of his shoe, left a rubber imprint on the floor.
Yeah, that was something.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that can't feel good.
Okay, let's go to the NFL where we have the audio has been released of the New York Football Giants making the move for Jackson ripping darts. Next on the Fan. New York Football Giants made a move in the NFL draft. They were sitting at 34 in the second round, so the second pick of the second round, and they decided they didn't want to wait long enough. They moved up and they got Jackson Dart out of Ole Miss at the 25th pick, making a move with the Houston Texans to jump in front of the Pittsburgh Steelers, which then went with Derek Harmon. Well, the audio from the Giants' war room has now been released of Joe Schoen facilitating the deal, and you hear Brian Daboll, the head coach, in there a little bit. And when you're watching this, imagine Joe Schoen dressed like he's going to the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, very, very.
Yeah, he's like wearing a light checkered, kind of pastel,
no tie,
big
little
check
casual
jacket. Yeah. And he's just pacing around the war room
nervously,
like a madman during this audio.
There's a couple names up there that we basically went through today that, we like enough. If we get there, there's a chance we could come up. I'll give you a call once it gets closer, probably around 22 or 23 if we're going to do something. I mean, we can get it done in 2 picks with Denver. I'm just trying to see if we wait, trying to get as much information as we can. But Pittsburgh's a quarterback needy team, but they're looking to move back too. So nobody's going to remember a 3rd-round pick if you're right. So you guys are convicted in him. You believe in him. We did the process. He checked all the boxes. Let's roll the dice. Houston will do the deal. 25. Houston gets 34, 99, and next year's 3rd. All right, buddy. Oh my God.
Good job, Joseph. Good.
Oh, Brian Daboll going with the Joseph.
There you go.
Joseph, good job.
You can
Joseph.
hear the sigh that Shane lets out there. Oh man, like those are 2 guys who their backs are against the wall.
Well, they know the pressure of this pick in moving up. They know they needed a quarterback. They don't feel comfortable whatsoever moving forward with their quarterback position that they have. And so they brought in, like, Jackson Dart was the guy for Brian Daboll. And we heard about this leading up to the NFL draft. Several teams had Jackson Dart way higher than Shedeur Sanders. That proved to be true. But they also had Jackson Dart closer to Cam Ward than anybody else on the board. The only other guy sniffing that upper second round level. But if you're going to have conviction in the guy, you got to get him in the first round.
So you get that extra year.
They make the move, and you could see it and you could hear it in both Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll's voices. They know the importance of Jackson Dart working out.
Yeah, no, and it's we heard so much about, not to sit here and pile on Shedeur, about how miserably he bombed that meeting in the whiteboard session, how unprepared he was, and how basically the Giants wanted nothing to do with him. It was the complete opposite with Jackson Dart.
Yeah.
Jackson Dart was the guy that Brian Daboll honed in on and was like, no, this guy killed it. This guy did everything we wanted him to do. That's the whole point of like the interview process. Have you seen the Abdul Carter the combine video?
No.
And it was very interesting what kind of came out of that. And they had him in there. It was with the Browns, I believe. And you could see everyone in the room kind of nodding and smiling. Oh, this is a football guy. Oh, this guy gets like you could like there was probably 8-9 guys in that room, and that you could just kind of see what was coming out of it. I would love to see what those Shedeur Sanders ones look like.
Yeah, I mean, and this is brutal the way that Cleveland is going about it. If you go and you look at the Browns' social media, they're posting far more Dylan Gabriel content on the Browns' socials. The questions from the media are all Shedeur.
Yep.
And that's 100% the reason why teams said, dude, if we're in the 3rd round, we're not taking him
because we don't want that distraction.
He becomes the distraction. He becomes the focal point. And that is what is happening in Cleveland, even though the Browns are trying to mitigate it. Now, they posted a video of Shedeur, with a nice pass, but they had Dylan Gabriel walking into the facility.
They had the helmet try on.
Well, doing like his entire process from when he got off of the shuttle bus from the hotel, walking in, going through, getting game balls, getting fitted for his helmet, meeting all the coaches, equipment staff, all that stuff, trying to put out there that the vibes guy, the reason why we drafted him is he's a vibes guy, which is what you want from your backup.
Yep.
And then they're posting Dylan Gabriel, going through drills. They have a Shador post because they know it's going to get the
Gotta give it a little something.
impressions.
It's going
to get
it's your feed.
impressions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they had Mason Graham on there too. Did you see his?
No.
They were doing his cleat fitting. Number one, he lights up. He's like, I can have any cleat in here. From it. Now they do. If you remember, the Seahawks in their equipment room is first in class. It's unbelievable. Like all the walls kind of slide out of the way with all these different cleats, and they map your feet. It wasn't quite as deep and technology driven as that for the Browns and Mason Graham, but he's like the guy he's working with is like, well, you can't have any cleat. Like we're not going to put you in the kicker cleat kind of a deal. But it was funny because Mason Graham goes, well, you can't put me in any lineman cleats. I can't have these big, heavy. He went with like the vapors, like the mid top vapors, and I was like, "You're 330 pounds, man. You're gonna Zion those things."
Nah, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. He'll be fine.
But it was funny. He was like, "Oh, these are clean. These are clean." I'm like, "Oh man." Lineman culture's going a little too deep into wide receiver DB culture.
No, dude, you gotta look good, feel good, play good.
I get that, but I like my hog mollies to be still hog molly-ish.
Yeah, you want them in the stovetops, the Nike Sharks.
I want 4 pounds of spat on each ankle.
Am I the only one that thought when yesterday they were releasing the video footage of Shador getting to his locker for the first time and whatnot, being shocked at how entirely unimpressive that Cleveland Browns locker room was?
No,
it was like a padded folding chair in front of it, and it's like you go look at most other like college programs, and they're
I'd argue college programs have better locker rooms than almost every.
I don't think that's inarguable.
Yeah.
I think that isn't inarguable at this point.
Or is that like league wide even with the NFL?
There's a couple teams that have nice, like the Seahawks. They
like
have,
with the Browns, it's not necessarily terribly surprising, but I was surprised at how sparse it was.
The NFL organizations have actually had to step up their game because guys are what it always used to be is like guys would go from college to the pros and be like, whoa, this is different. Now you have guys going from college to the pros and going like,
they're going, whoa,
what?
And they're going, whoa, this is different.
Where's your stuff at, man?
Yeah. You look at the Georgias, the Alabamas, the Oregons, Arizona's locker room is incredible.
All of them have great facilities now. That's just the nature of the beast in college because that's how you woo the kids. You don't have to in the NFL. You're like, dude, we drafted your ass. You'll take that padded folding chair and you'll like it because in Kansas City they won Super Bowls and they got wooden stools, bruh.
They hadn't really redone the locker room since was it 66 or something like that?
If you want to be thoroughly unimpressed, go to an NFL stadium and check out the home team locker room because they only use it on game day.
Yeah.
They don't use it really ever.
It's not their
besides
practice
that. Unless the stadium is like brand new.
Yeah.
No. They're very unimpressive. But that was at the Browns facility, which they usually have a little bit better.
Right.
A little bit better where they spend the day to day. Jackson Dart, though, do you see what he did at the first day?
No.
First day of rookie mini camps, and the New York media is already saying, we like this guy. He's different. Guess what he did? Just like, guess what do you think would win over New York sports media and be like, yeah, this guy's different. We like him.
Open, honest conversation.
Okay.
I already know. I already saw it.
All he did was ask the media, hey, when you ask a question, could you please say your name and where you work so I can know who you are next time?
Smart.
Like it's a
little thing like that, yeah.
And there were multiple New York media reporters being like, we've never seen anything like this before. This guy's got it. And it's like, probably Lane Kiffin was like, you know what I screwed up doing? I was a jackass when I first became a head coach at 32 years old.
It will shape how you recovered it. Like, look, I'm in a locker room 41 times a year plus more, and the guys that spend the time getting to know guys, you're gonna get benefit of the doubt and stuff.
Yeah,
that's just human nature.
Yeah,
that's just the like. Dame was the best at it. Dame is universally looked at as one of the best like media guys in not even just basketball and sports. I think he just got named to the first. They're doing it for the first time. The Professional Basketball Writers Association.
Mhm.
They had named their all media team. You know who else is on that list besides Dame? Mike Conley.
Yeah.
It's not a hard thing to do. It's really not. If you just like do the bare minimum, the guys that actively avoid eye contact, not even when you're like on record, just like because we walk into a locker room pregame or postgame, like there are guys that are just scurrying to get out of there. They'll go out the back door or whatever, like, and you're just like, come on, man.
LaMarcus was like,
oh
that.
God, yeah, it's a pro move. You go through the video room and out the back door, and hilariously, Ant's locker is where LaMarcus's was, and he's perfected that move from time to time.
Yeah, well,
Look, I get it, but Ant will also be the first guy when something very good or very bad happens that he's going to be the guy up there, and he kind of knows the deal with that. But this like the whole idea of like just a modicum, not even of respect, but just like this is a two-way relationship. Will get you so far with just about every single media member.
Yeah,
and like I don't know if that's who Jackson Dart is, or he's got a really good publicist who was like, look, if you do this,
it's a little bit of both. You got to have somebody to plant the seed, but the execution of it has to come down to the player actually doing it.
And if you do something that like Dink Pate, we just came through on workouts on Tuesday. Do you know what he did before he started the interview? He walked over to every single person. There's about 10, 12 of us there. Hey, I'm Dink Pate. What's your name? Yeah. And then you tell him your name, and he goes, oh, okay, Danny, nice to meet you. He'd repeat it back to you. And it was just like, everybody just kind of looked at each other like, oh, this is different. And the interview was incredible. Like he just had that personality to him. And it was very, very subtle, stupid things like that end up mattering in the long run.
All right, hour number 1 in the books. Hour number 2, we start with dramatic changes coming to college football. And no, this isn't about the House settlement. It's actually on the field. Danny Dusty on the Fan.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Jeff Rust with your Sports Center update. First on The Fan, the NBA playoffs continue tonight with a pair of Game 3s. First up, the Pacers hosting the Cavaliers, who hope to avoid that dreaded 3-0 series deficit. Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, DeAndre Hunter, all game-time decisions. It's a 4:30 tip on ESPN. The Cavs are 5-point road favorites. Then it's the Thunder and Nuggets from Denver. That series tied at 1 game each. 7 o'clock tip on ESPN. The Nuggets, 6-point home dogs. Over on the diamond, the Mariners back at it today, starting a 3-game set hosting the Blue Jays. Luis Castillo starting for Seattle, Kevin Gausman for Toronto. 6:40 first pitch. The Mariners have won each of their last 9 series and are 18-6 since April 8th. A signature event this weekend on the PGA Tour, the Truist Championship from the Philadelphia Cricket Club. Second round play has finished for the day. Kashmir Keith Mitchell leading the way at 12 under after a 3 under 67 today. Shane Lowry 11 under par, Sepp Straka 10 under, and included in those tied for fourth at 7 under par are Rory McIlroy and Colin Morikawa. Ricky Fowler is 6 under. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
It's back. The 11th annual Fan Golf Classic at Langdon Farms Golf Club happens Tuesday, June 24th. Presented by your local Toyota dealers. Reserve your foursome now at 1080thefan.com. Danny Meringue.
Dusty Bun?
Dusty Hera.
I've been really busy. I'm trying to save the world from Russians and monsters.
This is Danny and Dusty on the Odyssey app and Portland's sports leader.
Of course you have.
1080.
I want to hear it.
The Fan.
Reach the stars. Fly up
Hour number 2, Danny and Dusty with you on this Friday afternoon. Thanks for being a part of our day, letting us be a part of yours. 1080 AM, 99.5 HD2, the Odyssey app. Twitch.tv/1080am The Fan or YouTube.com/1080am The Fan. Party on, party people on the YouTube stream. What's up, guys? How y'all doing? Let's see here. We got Orr coming up at 2:30. 2:30 today.
We do.
Jeff Rust. Feverishly put together. Aw.
It's all about how my first golf lesson went.
Okay.
That's it. No, my bad.
Yeah.
Thought we were dialed in on that.
Well, we've got new changes to college football. Ross Dellinger, Yahoo Sports reporting that this is like oh, no way. But a 16-team college football playoff bracket is gaining support in the Big Ten and the SEC. And this is going, if the Big Ten and SEC want it, it will happen.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not directly related to the House settlement, but you can connect the dots here. If the SEC and the Big Ten want it, everybody else is going to fall in line. And the way that it would look is a money-making machine for the sport of college football. As it would go, the SEC and Big Ten would each get 4 bids apiece, so half of the field would be from those two conferences. Guaranteed half of the field from those two conferences. 2 bids would go to the ACC and the Big 12. 1 would go to the group of 6 conferences, so that includes the Pac-12, Mountain West, Sun Belt, Fun Belt, MACtion, and Conference USA.
Okay.
And then you would have 3 at-large bids. So we say at least half of the field would be from the Big Ten and the SEC. You could see upwards of 11 of the 16 teams being from
we know
those two conferences.
One of those bids is earmarked for Notre Dame.
Yeah, that one is.
So it's mostly 2.
That's a.
You have a 10-win Notre Dame team? Sure.
Okay.
Fine. You haven't played anybody all year, but sure.
But here's the fun part, and I think that this would be awesome. Conference championship games are irrelevant, and they can hurt teams now.
Mm-hmm.
The meaning of them, if you want to continue to do this, is purely a seeding thing, right? 1 and 2 will play, but they won't get punished for it. And here is how. Because with all of the other conferences, their seeding will be on the line. The ACC and the Big 12, hey, 1 or 2, if you get 2 teams in, that game means a whole hell of a lot based on your seeding, okay? But as we saw this past year, teams that weren't playing in conference championship weekend were getting healthy and staying idle, right? Standing by. Here is where it would help those teams out. There would be, in this proposal, a play-in game for the SEC and the Big Ten. So if they're guaranteed 4 teams, the number 3 team in conference play would play the number 6 team. The number 5 team would play the number 4 team. And those are for the 2 remaining playoff spots from the Big Ten and the SEC.
Oh, so now a play-in is good.
Now you have conference championship weekend is a triple header. So you would have
cha-ching,
3
cha-ching.
3 verse 6, 4 verse 5, 1 verse 2. And one of those games is purely a seeding game, 1 verse 2. But then the other 2 games are you want a spot in the dance? This is how you get in. And that is how you'd make a lot more money.
Make a lot more money and raise the stakes.
And really give a little bit more of that competitive balance to the playoff, where we saw Ohio State not playing in conference championship weekend, won the whole damn thing. They were just sitting at home licking their wounds from the Michigan loss going, oh my gosh, how do we get up off the mat from this? Well, they did, and boy, howdy did they. They would be playing in a game to get into the dance.
It would be interesting. So it would have been 3 verse 6.
Yeah.
So who was 6 last year in the Big Ten?
I'll get that for you here.
It's not Iowa. Maryland?
No. Illinois, possibly. You would have been, okay, so here would have been your Big Ten conference games. You would have had Oregon playing Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
Indiana would have played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Iowa.
Okay.
And then Ohio State would have played Illinois.
There you go.
Okay. So that would have been your Ohio State, Illinois to get in, Indiana, Iowa to get in. From the SEC, it would have been Tennessee playing South Carolina, Alabama playing LSU.
Oof.
Yeah, you want some of that action?
Yeah.
You want some of that action, boss?
Yeah, sign me up for
with
that.
the potential, actually, I think with the way that tiebreakers went, with the way tiebreakers went, it would have been actually Tennessee, Ole Miss.
Ooh, that's a good game too.
Bama, LSU.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sign me up for that.
Yeah. So if you're wondering, would it make sense from the playoff perspective? Because you looked at, we said it when the bracket was released, the number 1 seed kind of has the toughest path here.
Mm-hmm. Because the seeding situation was kind of like, sure, we think.
If you would have taken just the final college football playoff rankings, because that's all we can go off of in this scenario, we don't know what the play-ins would have resulted in. You would have had number 1 seed Oregon playing 16 seed BYU.
Mm-hmm.
The winner of that game would have played the winner of Indiana, Boise State, which compelling matchup. I would have rather have watched that.
Yeah.
Okay. The 4 seed Penn State would play the 13 seed Miami, and the winner of that game would play the winner of 5 seed Notre Dame and 12 seed Arizona State. All that side of the bracket, you got compelling matchups. Okay. So on the other side of the bracket, boys, a gauntlet. Number 2 seed Georgia would have played 15 seed Clemson. 7-10 matchup would have been Tennessee versus SMU. The winner would have gone on to play the winner of Clemson and Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Then on the lower half of that side, you would have had the 3 seed Texas playing the 14 seed Ole Miss.
Ooh.
With the chance to play the winner of 6 seeded Ohio State and 11 seed Alabama.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Alabama, Texas, Ole Miss.
Yeah, all in that bottom quadrant, that bottom right quadrant. But overall, that bracket makes more sense than what happened in this past iteration of the first 12-team college football playoff.
They were never going to get it right the first time. We all knew that. And we knew that some iteration was going to come out of this that was going to be dictated by the Big Ten and the SEC. And we all know this is going to if they go to 16, we know it's going to go further beyond not just the college football playoff, but like the whole idea of the 40-team Super League. Like, this is the framework for that.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
So in this, if you take last year's college football playoff rankings or whatever, you would have had Notre Dame, Miami, and Ole Miss being at large bids, and South Carolina would be the first team out.
Here's the pitch.
Who did South Carolina? South Carolina had some good wins, though.
Mm-hmm.
last year. Let me see why they would have complained. They would have complained because they beat Clemson at the end of the year.
Yeah.
That would have been the only playoff team that they would have beaten.
Here's the pitch now. Okay. So if you've got a 16-team playoff, you have to have at least double that. So you're up to 32 teams. So let's just go to 40. Okay. Let's go to a 40-team super conference that plays into this 16-team playoff. And you have the bottom 4 teams in relegation. And the next 4 up in the next group of 40 playing to get promoted. That to me is the perfect fix for college football.
Yeah, you're not going to ever see it.
I know, but to me, like, that would keep the motivation. It would keep the bottom half of the SEC, Big Ten, who are just the hangers on of like, hey, no, we're good. No. You want to be up here with the big boys and get these big boy paydays, you got to participate.
Yeah.
And if you're not going to commit to this, then you can say, like, look, Vandy had some impressive wins this year. And when we had all that fun with it, that to me is like if you look at, I hate to make the same comparison, but like you look at English soccer and the structure of that, you look at the motivated teams like the Wrexhams of the world have done all of these things to get back up to playing with the big boys and making real money because there's real investment and you see what they want to do. If you do the same thing in college football, yeah, you may not be there every year, but when your cycle does hit, like that's when you strike.
The hard part about that is there is an element of Boise State won't ever have the resources of some of the big teams. Even when you
have
get
the necessary 2-year cycle
even
to
when
get
you
up.
get, and we see this in like this is the fault in the English football league too, is that even when they get the big payday, right? Say Boise is a great example. They would have moved up and they would have been in the big boy conference. They don't have the resources in that 1 year to compete at the top end. So they get that 1 year payday, then they're back to where they started. Then it's just like this vicious cycle of bouncing back and forth until you get a billionaire owner or you get Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney, right? Just as Wrexham has. And until you get that, they're just in this purgatory of just bouncing back and forth.
So maybe you said it as a 2-year window.
Yeah. But then how do you... So they could be at the bottom of the SEC for 2 years, and meanwhile, you have a team that's sitting there, and they're like, dude, we were like the 4th worst team. We don't deserve to be down here. Like, we had one bad year, you know?
But that's the thing is, like, you need to be committed to it for the long haul.
Yeah. I like it, but... I've always said, like, promotion and relegation would be good. The hard part is... And we see this with all of these conferences. It's university presidents, and they go to bat for each other.
Oh yeah, because they don't want to. Because if one of theirs, you get one cut somewhere, then it's a knock against you and blah blah blah. But that's the point. Like
they're not sports people, and like every owner of a sports team should be a sports person. We all know that's not the truth.
Which is why I think that the next version of whatever college football is, and I think the same is going to be true in college basketball, has to be devoid of those guys.
Of university presidents?
Like, they're not a part of it. Like, because, I mean, look, football, you've coined it so many times, it's the front porch of your university. And we already have general managers and presidents that are overseeing these programs. That's what it needs to be. Like, the university presidents, provosts, whatever, they're not a part of this anymore.
Yeah.
That is it. Is just as akin to a coach going in and talking about the education of the university. You have no business there. No, I'm dead serious. You have no business there. That is not your world.
Yeah.
It is so devoid of what you do now as a university president because you have so many other things, and that has become so big. It is beyond your purview now.
I don't disagree with that. But
they don't want to give up the power or that money. That's the problem.
No, as long as it is attached to a university, there's no other way to go.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying.
Mean,
like the next version of college football is basically looks at it and goes, no, it can't be this. And if you want to be here with the big money guys,
but then that's not college athletics. Then
I mean,
because
it's not
the university president is the person that oversees the entire university, and as long as the athletic departments are attached to university, that university president does have that say.
Now,
Like that.
the collective bargaining.
I don't
of it all.
agree. I don't disagree with you on it one bit.
I just think the collective
but-
bargaining part of this that's going to come is going to force that.
Right. Well, I don't think it's going to force it. Not the university presidents out, the NCAA out.
That's what I mean. And by virtue, look, they'll be a part of it because, like you said, they are the university president. But I think that they're not going to be completely excised.
Yeah.
But I think that they're
going to be put in their place a little bit more.
Yes, and that's the thing that has to happen next, in my opinion.
And that's like with any business owner, right? The CEO of a company doesn't have his hands in absolutely everything of a Fortune 500 company, but he's the one that has to face, government oversight, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where it's at. And oh man, it's a mess. But the college football playoff, Ross Dellinger reporting we could see significant changes sooner rather than later with the way that those universities operate. Okay, do you want to feel very old?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I got a couple of things that will make us all feel very old. A home run was hit by somebody that if you are
our age.
30, no, I'm going to say if you are 30,
35
or over, you've probably seen his grandfather hit a home run.
I'm going to go 35. 35.
Next on the Fan. Today in You Are Old. The grandson of Cecil Fielder.
Oh boy.
Has made his professional baseball debut. God. This is something right here.
Why couldn't we get a Ken Griffey Jr. before this?
Oh, you mean Trey, who played football at the University of Arizona? I mean, like, that was something. That was a while ago, too. But the grandson of Cecil Fielder, Jaden Fielder, is playing in the Arizona League. And he is a member of the Milwaukee Brewers organization.
Oh, that sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah, he is the son of Prince Fielder. And if you remember, both Dad and Grandpa were home run sluggers.
Enormous human beings with otherworldly power.
Do you know, I remembered this random stat, but do you know how many home runs both Prince and Cecil Fielder had in their careers?
They're both over 300, aren't they?
They both hit the exact same number of home runs in their careers.
I'm going to go like 316.
They both hit 319 home runs, and they each had, Cecil had 1,008 RBI. Prince, in his career, had 1,028 RBI
That's
in their careers.
crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts.
And they didn't have a great relationship, if I remember right.
Well, after the pictures of them being a little kids on the field, when he was Prince was a little kid with him, I don't think they did.
Yeah.
But Jaden Fielder is in the Arizona League, and he is 20 years old.
God.
He played for the Brewers Arizona Complex League, and on his very first professional at-bat, hit a home run.
Danger. And he is not built like his father or his grandfather, but his stance and his swing.
Yeah.
If you squint, you're like, oh, yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
It's a Fielder swing.
Identical. Or, excuse me, he is 18 years old, I think. To make this even more, hey, you are very old, Mike Cameron's son is also a member of the Milwaukee Brewers organization, drafted by the Brewers in April, or joining their minor league system in April.
Have you seen it's obviously for very real reasons, but the number of former professional players' sons across sports is skyrocketing. Number one, their genetics.
Mm-hmm.
But number two, their access to training and development and nutrition and all of that stuff is just exploding. And now, obviously, the genetics part of it plays probably the biggest part of all of this. But you just look across sports right now and how many kids in the college basketball circuit, okay, over the next couple of years. This year, you have Dylan Harper, son of Ron Harper, who's going to be the number 2 pick in the draft. You've got Cam and Cade Boozer. You've got Taj Ariza. You've got Gilbert Arenas' kid, Elijah. I mean, you just look at it is insane. Melo's kid, Kyan Anthony. We already had Bronny, and now Bryce James. Like the number of kids.
Jeremy Grant.
Yeah, I mean, he's third generation.
I mean, there's a lot of former players who their kids are now coming through, and it's only going to be far greater. By the way, Daz Cameron, which is Mike Cameron's kid, 28 years old. I'm not sure if he and Prince will ever play together. For the Brewers this year, he's only had 12 at-bats. He is 2 for 12. He's batting 167.
That's tough.
Yeah.
But again, even it doesn't guarantee you'll make it. But there's a stat out there I mentioned, I want to say last week or the week before, talking about size. If you're a 7 foot tall man, you have an 18% chance of playing in the NBA by virtue of being 7 foot tall. I would imagine the numbers of if you were the son of a professional athlete, skyrocket.
Yeah.
Absolutely skyrocket. And heaven forbid, mom's a D1 athlete.
Right?
Because you look around, a lot of these dudes end up having kids with other D1 and other professional athletes.
For those asking on the fan text line, 503-864-6326, yes, Jaden Fielder is a lefty, and his swing is
and his stance
right
is,
out of the
is
fielder.
hunched over,
Yep.
rolled shoulders and swinging from his toes.
Yeah. So,
It's pretty though. I will say it's a coiled up snake, but it's a fun swing.
yeah. So, Cecil Fielder and Prince Fielder are the only father-son duo in Major League Baseball history to hit 50 home runs in a season.
Yeah.
There's only been one other father-son duo to hit 40 in a season.
It's not Griffey, is it?
No, it's Vlad
Jr.
and Vlad Sr.
Yeah.
If Jaden Fielder's first at-bat is any indication, we may see 3 generations of fielders hit
dingers.
40 or more dingers in a season.
Yeah, that's when
Think about that.
That's when you draw the blood and go, okay,
Yeah.
what are we working with here?
It's like
snake bite guy.
Well, it's like Secretariat. Every horse in the Kentucky Derby was somehow
Bloodline.
directly related to Secretariat. That's going to be like every baseball player is directly related to Cecil Fielder at some point.
Yeah, I mean, having a dude on your roster that can hit 40 nukes and hit 100 ribbies,
Yeah.
seems like that's useful.
Yeah, it's not bad.
And if I remember right, Prince was okay average-wise. Wasn't he like a 280 hitter?
In 283, yeah. He was 283
Yeah.
hitter. He was really good, and then his body just broke
It
down.
was his back.
And he tried to go vegan. I remember that.
He basically he pulled out every last stop, including the fat guy going vegan.
Yeah.
Like that's when you know it's the real desperation.
Yeah, it's tough, man.
Because I guarantee that man loved a steak.
Mm-hmm. So, Jaden Fielder, now a professional baseball player on his path to the big leagues. That's nuts.
That is bonkers.
Yeah. I remember watching his grandpappy hitting home runs at old Tiger Stadium. Nuts.
That is ig. The first time I remembered as a kid was obviously with Griffey. And then the family lineage was the Alomars.
Yep.
And then
Well, yeah, you had quite a
the
few.
Alous.
Yeah.
Moises, Philippe, and
What? Felipe was the father, yes. And then Moises.
it always seemed like it was significantly more prominent, particularly earlier on when the family part of it, the structure was in baseball. And then hockey too as well. And then obviously the Molinas with Yachty and Benji. You just saw it more there. Now it feels like it's matriculating across sports. I mean, you look at the NFL right now and how many freaking kids of NFL players. Hell,
Yeah.
Patrick Surtain's kid's the best corner in the league.
And what you got the Boons,
Yeah.
Aaron and Brett, and then I forget their dad Bob.
And then you had the Jombies.
Felipe, Matty, Jesus, and then you had
Moises.
So they were all the first
Moises,
generation.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then they were all part of the Rojas family too. Oh my gosh. Luis Rojas. Jose Sosa was also a member of the Alou family, and Mel Rojas
Got the Franconas.
and Mel Rojas Jr. So that's all the Felipe or
Yeah.
the Alou family.
Man, that's, again, you start drawing some blood, man.
Yeah.
Find those genetic markers for being able to have insane hand-eye coordination.
Well, and then you got that one pair of Bonds too.
Mm.
They were okay.
Were they good?
Yeah.
I think they were okay.
Not too shabby.
Yeah.
Not too shabby.
Yeah.
So there you go. All right, come up next time for Worst Day on the Web and further proof that violence solves everything. But
No, it doesn't.
it does. It does. See, I'll get there.
But remember, this is Draymond Jr. over here.
Yeah, no,
Nah.
it solves everything. Even matters of the most importance in the religious world. But first, here's Grape Nuts himself with the Sports Center update.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on the fan, the NBA playoffs continue this evening with a pair of game threes. First up, the Pacers hosting the Cavaliers, who hope to avoid that dreaded 3-0 series hole. Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, DeAndre Hunter, all game-time decisions. It's a 4:30 tip on ESPN. The Cavs are 5.5-point road favorites. Then the Thunder and Nuggets from Denver. That series all knotted up at a game apiece. 7 o'clock tip on the ESPN. The Nuggets are 6-point home dogs. The Mariners back at it today, starting a 3-game set hosting the Blue Jays. Luis Castillo on the hill for Seattle. Kevin Gausman for Toronto. 6:40 first pitch on Root Sports. The Mariners have won each of their last 9 series. And a signature event this weekend on the PGA Tour, the Truist Championship from the Philadelphia Cricket Club. Second round play has finished. Kashmir Keith Mitchell leading the way at 12 under par. Overall, Shane Lowry 11 under. Sepp Straka is 10 under, and included in those tied for 4th at 7 under are Rory McIlroy and Colin Morikawa. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Russ from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The Fan Merch Locker has a new black 1080 The Fan hoodie, as well as classic long and short sleeve tees. Get yours now at 1080thefan.com. With Danny and Dusty on Odyssey and 1080 The Fan.
Well, that sucks.
All right, we're going to go way back in time for this one. This is just kind of the reporting that's been done on the history of the Papal Enclave as we have the first American-born pope of all time. Did you know that when they went to elect a pope in 1605, that a full-on fracas, punches being thrown, happened in a papal enclave.
Oh, no turning the other cheek, huh?
The other cheek was not turned at all. In fact, it is the only time in recorded history where a fight has broken out where a cardinal suffered recorded injuries.
Oh, really? What happened?
He left with broken bones.
Oh, that'd kill you back in the 1600s.
Right? So
Yeah,
apparently...
hopefully that wasn't a compound fracture.
Right? They don't say, it just says, the elderly Cardinal Visconti sustained multiple broken bones, marking the only known instance of an injury at a papal conclave. Now, apparently, it is not uncommon for like a full-on like NBA chest-to-chest shoving match to occur.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're rallying for your guy. You're fighting for your guy there.
Like it's literally.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently in the 1600s, somebody drew back.
Well, that's the least surprising thing I've heard about this conclave. I assume that's how they sorted out the Pope.
Fight Club this thing?
Some sort of wrestling match.
Yeah.
You know, friendly debate turns into, all right, we're down to 2.
So I'm not Catholic.
Time for
so
you guys to wrestle.
I don't know the rules to this, but apparently when you cast your vote, there's 252 cardinals and there's 133 electors. The reason there's a disparity between the cardinal and the electors, you have to be under the age of 80 to cast a vote.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, you would think.
You're gonna die.
Have you looked at our politicians?
Yeah. They should put that rule. You have to be under the age of 80 to serve in office.
I'd be okay with 70.
Yeah. That is so it's super weird the way that it all goes down because they like spread out.
You have the small groups.
And they have like, it's your little cliques.
Yeah.
It's like a high school cafeteria.
Except everyone's 75 years old.
So what you do is you got your guy and you got to go to each table. You got to go to the Goth Cardinals and then you got to go to the Jocks. And you got to go to the It Girls.
The Cardinals come in and say on Sunday we wear red.
Yeah, and you slide in and you're like, hey, let me tell you about Leo here.
Did you see the Cardinal with the fishing bucket hat? That photo went viral.
Mm-mm.
I thought it was AI. Apparently it's not. So they all have I don't know what the name of the hat is called, the little, Catholic yarmulke.
That's not what it's called.
It's not, I know, but I'm painting what it is. I don't know the name of it. It's the closest thing that we have to it. I guess the Catholic skull cap. We'll go with that. But there was a cardinal legit wearing a like fly fishing bucket hat.
The bucket hat, that looks like that is called a galero. While the
Neck protection
beanie-looking
is
yarmulke
important.
thing is a zucchetto.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah. Well, anyways, you go around and you got to try to convince the other people that your guy's the guy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how this whole thing works. And
then they cast their blind votes.
Well, as you go through these, you find out that there's some S-talking going back and forth about, hey, this is what they were saying about your guy. And they're like, well, this is what I'm saying about their guy. And then it all gets back to him. And then you that's where I can see it gets a little bit contentious there as you're trying to win people over.
I heard their guy buys the cheap crackers. Our guy, nothing but Ritz.
Yeah. I don't, it's a weird thing how they select a pope.
I mean,
I don't know if, think of like the amount of meetings that you would be willing to be in order for that to happen. Like you're talking, this was a 2-day event and they were like, we're good, guys.
I call it the Zoom call from hell, but
it's
from
not.
heaven?
It's in person right there.
Yeah.
How many of those Cardinals do you think walked in and went, you know what, guys, this could have been an email.
This could have been an email.
2 days?
Well, they are barred in there too.
Yeah.
They can't leave.
No phones.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Dude, the millennial electors, they're going to have a real problem here in
when
40
they take their
years.
phones?
They're going to be like, what do you mean I don't get my phone? What do you mean?
Did you see the post, the Instagram post from the new Pope?
No.
Take me to God's country.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Whoa, he's pulling a Morgan Wallen leaving Saturday Night Live?
Yeah, what's going on here? You're in God's country, sir.
Are you sure you didn't get, I don't know what the equivalent to Ballsack Sports is in the religious world.
Yeah, it could be. Godsack Sports.
But did you? There was
Godsmack.
Foreskin News.
Got Godsmacked.
What?
I'm just trying to keep it below the equator there.
Jeez Louise.
That was Jeff Ross, not me.
Oh my gosh. But
If you Google foreskin news,
there were
do not do it at work.
No,
Or
just
Fournier.
don't.
Yeah.
Don't. There was pictures after his brother, the Pope's brother, did his interview saying, no, he's not a Cubs fan. Definitely not a Cubs fan. There's pictures of him at the World Series in 2005 in White Sox gear.
Oh, so it's true.
Yeah. Like he's wearing a White Sox
So
hat. He's on like a flip phone.
Cubs are out here with stolen valor.
Dude, they were of course the Cubs
Wow.
are doing this. Like
Wow.
but don't just shame the Cubs because you know the Yankees would do it if it was a New York Pope. The Dodgers would do it if it was an LA Pope.
Yeah.
They'd just be like, well, if he's from
Well,
here, he's got to be a fan of us.
to
And
be-
meanwhile, the Angels and the Mets are like, wait.
to be fair,
In LA, though, it wouldn't be so much of a stretch for him to be an Angels fan.
That is true.
yeah, but also like not in LA.
And then, of course, there's San Diego with the fathers.
Yeah, that's where I was going to go. I could see him being Go Dads.
Yeah, be Padres fan.
Yeah. Team Go Dads.
Angels. But you know the big brands would be like, oh, yeah, of course he's one of us. Of course he is.
So it's almost like you needed him to become like a small town, be like an Iowa State graduate.
Nah, he's Villanova, man.
Yeah, I know. Although it's again, it's a nice little tie-in for the Knicks. Tell you
Yeah.
what, if the Knicks get it done, they better make a nice little donation
Yeah, they should.
to the church,
Yeah.
as it were.
Yeah. Now it's like
Oh, come on. You know James Dolan will still take all the credit.
Notre Dame coming basketball season is going to be like, dang it, we can't make the we got God on our side joke because it's Villanova this year.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I hope
It's
the
a
students run.
Jesuit
I
school.
hope the students run with that.
Yeah. Well, they probably will. They're college kids.
Yeah,
Find
I
it.
like that. I like
Find
where
any
it's
reason why
going.
they're going to win.
I like that.
Now that Kyle Neptune's gone,
Yeah, well, that needed to happen.
that was not a good hire.
No, not great, Bob. All right, coming up next, a walking red flag before the NFL draft is popping all kinds of red flags. Coming up here next on Danny and Dusty, 10 to the Fan.
After
Hell, if you watched the NFL draft, you saw the family of Shamar Stewart. Dad up there with a grill and a $200,000 jewelry piece, little Thanos. I love families being involved, being there for their kids. I see parents that are hanging on and flossing jewelry, and I am immediately out on a player. I am immediately out. It is something that I look at when you're talking about like getting intel on guys and looking at things and going, nope, I want no part of this. It's similar to Shedeur with his dad and obviously everything that comes along with that. And that's just one of my major red flags. It's the LaMelo Ball, LeVar Ball of it all. Like, I can't think of a time when the overbearing helicopter parent who was deep in the money and in everything and on the court has worked out well. T. Morant, John Halliburton, like we can run down the list.
I mean, it was working for Hallie, not his dad. And that I think like Tyrese Halliburton may be like
the perfect example.
The exception to the rule that you're making here, in that he isn't the problem.
He shoved dad out of the way.
Yeah, and he's just like largely, I think, like the separation between who the parent is and who the kid is. I mean, we're all way different than our parents are.
Sure,
there's a lot of similarities, but you can be a far different person than the person that raised you.
Oh, absolutely. Maybe I'm scarred by this as a kid with the whole Marinovich and USC and that whole situation, but I don't like that. No, I love the fact that when you have
I mean, you'd rather not have it.
No, God, no. No, I love that. Like a perfect example locally is Anthony. His dad is very tough and rigid with him, but you never see Charles. Like he's in the background always.
Mm-hmm.
I love seeing that. Like very much a part of what they want to do and helping him and guiding him and keeping on that path. But with Shamar Stewart, the sensors went up immediately. I'm like, oh, this is a problem. Well, now we're getting into rookie minicamp and the top two picks for the Cincinnati Bengals, Shamar Stewart being the first one of those, not participating and not signing a contract yet.
Yeah, Shamar Stewart is sitting out of rookie minicamp, and his explanation doesn't hold much water.
Participate in mini camp today?
I just decided not to sign those papers.
Do you anticipate signing your contract before Monday to join the team, or you're not sure when that's going to come together?
I would hope so. I mean, I would love to be part of the team. I'd be on the sideline just looking at everybody else do work.
Just say how tough it is for you.
Yeah, especially on the first day, it was kind of tough on me.
Are you part of the meetings? Are you doing other things as part of this?
Oh yeah, I'm doing everything else. I'm just like on the field stuff. I'm not doing it.
It's tough on me. What's tough on you? You didn't sign the paperwork, dog.
Well, there's layers to all of this too, in that first round picks are slotted. It makes it very easy for these guys to sign the deals. Where it comes down to is how much signing bonus is going to be kind of slid into it. Bengals notoriously cheap.
Mm-hmm.
We know this with the Brown family, and that's where you may want to use a little bit of caution here, in that maybe it is the Brown family and the Bengals front office, which we know this based on every contract negotiation that they've had, like ever, with maybe the exception of Joe Burrow, which everybody's like, dude, don't screw this up. They've had issues with the language in the contracts.
Jamar.
That is a massive, massive issue with this organization. So as a member of the Bengals, I'm going, there might be a little bit, but the big issue here is that guys usually don't practice or they hold out because if you get injured, you get nothing.
Mm-hmm.
That is not the case with rookies in the NFL. There is a standard injury waiver for rookies in the NFL to where this is to avoid guys sitting out during these rookie camps that are not padded. They're wearing helmets, but that is it. And largely the first day is we're just going to get you to go through the motions and go through the drills. Him not sitting out or him sitting out, not participating, though he's going through all of the meetings. He was there and in a jersey, just not doing anything. That's where the red flag comes up. The contract thing, it's the Bengals. I get it.
Sure.
This happens with Cincinnati.
But it's another one for Shamar Stewart because he came into the draft with some questions about his motor and his consistency. Because when you look at Shamar Stewart, he looks like he's built in a football lab.
Yeah.
And you're like, you should be significantly more productive than you've been.
And look, this might be wildly unfair to the school, but I don't care. Texas A&M
has had a lot of these guys.
They got a lot of guys with these issues. I know Von Miller's not one of them, but
nor is Mike Evans.
They've had a lot of them more recently than those guys.
Oh, yeah.
And that is where you go, all right, he may just be all about what can you do for me now and how much money can you give me.
In that same vein, did you see that some history was made?
Mm-mm.
The first ever fully guaranteed contract was handed out to a second-round pick this morning.
Oh, really?
Iowa State's Jaden Higgins.
Yeah.
The Houston Texans, who we played the clip of the Giants trading up to 25, the Texans got pick number 34, of which they used to take Higgins from Iowa State, who was widely believed to be a first-round wide receiver. But they get him in the second round, and they have signed him to a fully guaranteed 4-year, almost $12 million deal.
Look, that's smart by both sides here because you now have a big body wide receiver. You get him for cheaper than what a first-round player would be, but you're fully guaranteeing it because you know that he can play. And, dude, he is – I don't know if anybody has actually watched Jaden Higgins. He's 6'4", like 220.
Yeah, he's a big old boy with a massive catch radius. Catch radius.
Big wide receiver, and he uses his body, and that's what they need with that team.
Yeah, Tank won't be back anytime soon, but you've got Nico. You've got so many weapons on that team, but what you're missing is that guy.
And they are going to be one of those teams that look at their wide receiver depth. They are going to be active in moving guys, knowing big contracts are going to be coming up. How do you create more assets and get more draft capital? That's how you do it right there.
4 year, like let's say, I'm not going to say he's Malik Neighbors, but let's say he's a top end young wide receiver.
His numbers, just by the nature of the offense and CJ Stroud and the weapons that are around him, his numbers aren't going to be eye popping, which is also why you can do this deal too. Because he's not going to be wide receiver one. You didn't draft him to be, but you're getting him at a really good value.
I'm saying, let's say he pops, and he's a truly great, like, when you're talking about the next group of wide receivers coming through the league, you've got him locked up for 4 years.
Yep.
At under $12 million.
It's a good business right there.
That's about as good a deal as you can get.
But fully guaranteed because you know he's going to be productive in some way, shape, or form for you. It's a good move, man.
Yeah, no, I thought it was interesting. That was the first time a second-round pick has ever gotten a fully guaranteed deal.
Well, they don't happen a lot in the NFL, period.
No. So it was a cool little wrinkle
that
in
is
there.
awesome.
And that's the Texans and Caserio, I think, being smart about things.
Yep.
So, all right, coming up next, let's pivot back to the NBA playoffs. The Indiana Pacers have a chance to really put the screws on. But more interestingly enough, I have a very interesting stat about Tyrese Halliburton and his young playoff career that might surprise you. We'll get to that next year on Hour Number 3 in Danny and Dusty, 10 the Fan.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
This update brought to you by Crunch Fitness. Memberships as low as $9.99 per month. Find your Crunch time in Portland, Vancouver, and online at crunch.com. First on The Fan, the NBA playoffs continue tonight. A pair of Game 3s on the docket. First up, the Pacers hosting the Cavaliers, who hope to avoid a 3-0 series deficit. Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, DeAndre Hunter, all game-time decisions. 4:30 tip on ESPN. The Cavs, though, are still 5-point road favorites. Then it's the Thunder and Nuggets from Denver. That series is tied at 1 game apiece. 7 o'clock tip on ESPN. The Nuggets are 6-point home dogs. The Mariners back at it today, starting a 3-game set hosting the Blue Jays. Luis Castillo on the bump for Seattle. Kevin Gausman for Toronto. 6:40 first pitch on Root Sports. The Mariners have won each of their last 9 series and are 18-6 since April 8th. Over in the PGA Tour, we got a signature event this weekend, the Truist Championship from the Philadelphia Cricket Club. Second round play all done for the day. Kashmir Keith Mitchell leading the way at 12 under after a 3 under 67. Shane Lowry 11 under par, and Sepp Straka is at 10 under. And included in the logjam, tied for 4th at 7 under par, are Rory McIlroy and Colin Morikawa. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
It's The Fan on FM. Go to 99.5 FM HD2 and enjoy high def 1080 The Fan.
Whether you're a duck or whether you're a beaver, your fantasy team needs a new receiver. It's Danny and Dusty at lunchtime every day. Maybe you're a tortured fan of Rip City. Danny and Dusty are here to take pity, hoping there's not a center with bad knees on the way. Talking noon till 3, Danny and Dusty on the Fan. Yep, I'm singing again, cause they haven't said I can't. Danny and Dusty love the teams the rest of us revile. Raising a Blazers banner would make it all worthwhile. Noon till 3.
An Odyssey station.
Hour 3 here on a Friday afternoon on Danny and Dusty, whether you're listening on 1080 AM, watching along on youtube.com/1080am the fan, or twitch.tv/1080am the fan. We appreciate you. We love you. And as a quick reminder, your local Toyota dealers present the 11th annual Fan Golf Classic at Langdon Farms Golf Club on Tuesday, June 24th. Brought to you by Henderson & Daughter Windows and Doors and by Philbrook Law Accident and Injury Lawyers. Do we know, is our afternoon round full?
I don't know.
I
don't know yet.
We're very close. It may actually be full now. There are still some spots for the morning. I was out at Langdon yesterday. Course looks absolutely fantastic. That drainage, always on point. It is an absolutely awesome event. June 24th. It's a nice little back-to-back. Come out and do the golf tournament. Get your fun in. Next day, the NBA draft. It's a nice little bookend of sports. Get out there, do your thing, and then go relax during the NBA
That's
draft.
what I'm talking about.
See what the future is for the Portland Trailblazers. Again, morning.
Be ready to be disappointed.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll know. Hey, when we come in on Monday, we'll just have a couple of hours until we know exactly where the Blazers will be picking. So that's also another thing coming up very, very soon. So we have the morning round still open. There's a few slots in the afternoon round. Matt's Barbecue is going to be out there catering the meal. Victor Rico's be out there with the breakfast burritos to get you started in the morning. Go to 1080thefan.com and click on the Fan Golf Classic banner to get your foursome in there. And do it now, do it now, do it now.
I'm sending an email right now to try to get an update on how many spots are still available in each round.
Yes, Mr. Brand Manager.
Well, I mean, you could do the same email.
Yeah.
That's
yours comes with more power.
I don't think
Has
so.
more authority.
I won't start till Monday.
Yeah, well. Get started early. Oh, that's exactly what the Indiana Pacers have done in this series. They've gotten started early. They are up 2-0 on the injured Cleveland Cavaliers. And the more I dig into what Tyrese Halliburton has been doing in his early career, the more special it becomes.
He's been incredible, man.
He's averaging 19 points, 9 assists, 4 rebounds. He leads the NBA playoffs in assists. Last year, he set the franchise record for assists in a season, breaking Mark Jackson's previous record. I think it was 753.
He's good.
He's really good. And Did you know he is undefeated at home in the playoffs? He is 9-0 at home during the playoffs in his career so far.
In his career. I'm surprised he's only played 9 home playoff games.
Well, he's only been in the league a couple years.
Yeah, I know, but he got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But it is like 9-0 at home because they're opening like they haven't been a top 2 seed, so they're.
Well, I think it's even more impressive this year when you look at home teams are 26-24 at home in the playoffs.
Home court not mattering. Who saw that coming?
26-24 this season. That's crazy.
So there's been a lot of talk about how inefficient Jason Tatum and the Celtics have been.
Mm-hmm.
This is from Tom Haberstroh. Among players with at least 250 field goal attempts, with the game within 5 in the final 5 minutes, otherwise known as clutch time, since 21-22, do you know where Tyrese Halliburton ranks in efficiency?
First?
Third, behind Nikola Jokic and Steph Curry. Jokic, 55.1 effective field goal percentage. Steph Curry, 52.9. Tyrese Halliburton, 52.7.
And effective field goal percentage is weighted for 3-point shots and 2-point shots, so it basically gives you a reading of what you are as a shooter.
And
in totality.
On this list.
Because you miss more threes, but they're worth more points.
This list, I'm just going to run through some names here real quick in the top group. Jokic, Curry, Halliburton, LeBron, Brunson, Fox, DeRozan, SGA, Jaylen Brown, Luka, Ant Edwards, KD. I'm going to cut it off right there. And he's number 1 in 3-point percentage on the entire list. Tyrese Halliburton is.
Wow. And he doesn't shoot on volume from 3.
No, he doesn't not shoot on volume, but he doesn't shoot on volume either.
Well,
he's not taking 10 a game.
He's not Ant Edwards, Steph Curry,
Klay Thompson
3-point
numbers.
numbers.
He's not getting up the 8-9 plus a game, but he does get up a decent volume, and he shoots the living hell out of the ball. I brought this up the other day. In his time in Indiana, he is averaging 20 points, 10 assists, 4 rebounds on 48, 39, 86 splits, and a 61.6% true shooting percentage.
Wow.
That's insane. Also has one of the best assist to turnover ratios in the entire league.
Yeah, he's really good. And the thing I love about Tyrese Halliburton is that the criticism of Jason Tatum and a lot of stars. I mean, this was a criticism of LeBron James, even though it was wildly unfair to LeBron James. Because LeBron, as his career has gone on and people are actually giving him credit for how damn good he is.
Finally.
It is Halliburton and LeBron take what the defense gives them every time down the floor. And oftentimes that is giving the ball up, right? And Tatum is getting criticized because it was like, dude, no, you gave, especially in the last game, it's like, don't give that ball up.
Yeah.
Right? But Halliburton makes the right choice almost every single time. And that's why he's considered overrated, is because people want him to be a 25 points.
They want him to
per
take more
game
shots.
Guy. But that's not what he is,
No.
because what makes him great and what makes him special is that he has such balance, because he's taking what every coach tries to ingrain in every single player ever, which is you don't have to force it.
Make the right play.
Make the right play, and he does it time and time again.
You really only get a player like this a generation. And I'm not calling him a generational player, but if you look over the history of basketball, and particularly in the modern era, hell, just basically since we were born, if you go early 80s on, the guys that make the right play, they're Hall of Famers. It's the Magics of the world. It's the Steve Nashes of the world. It is the Chris Pauls of the world. It is the Steve Nashes. And yes, Rajon Rondo.
It's the criticism that Chris Finch gave to his star player Ant Edwards after Game 1.
Mm-hmm.
Which, not the light went out, but when he went in a little bit harder on him, and it was like, we just got to take what's there.
Yeah.
And Ant Edwards gets it in his mind that he's going to do something, and this is how the game is going to go, and I need to force it. It was when things went wrong for SGA. That's in Game 1.
Mm-hmm.
People criticized it because it was like, dude, he had an awful game. Well, it's like these guys get it in their mind. I'm the star player. I'm the dude. I have to do it all. When you don't. And you can't win at this stage of the season if you have that, unless you are Michael Jordan and LeBron James. But what those guys also did was there's a reason why, Steve Kerr was knocking down threes for Michael Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why Tony Kukoc was an assassin from the outside for Michael Jordan. There's a reason why we know who Boobie Gibson is. And Ray Allen knocked down big shots in the NBA Finals because they do give the ball up and make the play.
Now, heading into this game, the Pacers are up 2-0, and if they were to go up 3-0, it's done. It's done. Nobody's ever come back from that. That's 3-1 they've come back from. We've seen that once. 3-0 doesn't happen. Here's the interesting thing. The Cavs are 5-point favorites on the road. 5-point favorites on the road. And now you have to remember, Darius Garland has not played, and he's dealing with the turf toe. Evan Mobley dealing with the ankle.
Missed game 2.
DeAndre Hunter dealing with the dislocated finger.
Thumb.
But
by the way, thumb's important.
It went from sprain to dislocation. Let me see what it's actually listed at. No, they cropped it.
No, it was dislocated thumb.
Yeah, they changed it to sprain.
Thumbs for human beings,
super important.
Very important.
Kind of what separates us.
It does.
The opposable thumb.
Yeah.
As it stands right now, according to NBA.com, their injury status: Darius Garland, DeAndre Hunter, Evan Mobley, all questionable, not probable.
Yikes, dog.
Questionable. Now that's
50-50.
Those should update, I think, at about 20 minutes.
Oh,
I believe 2:30. Let me check the tip off for that game. Tip off's 4:30. So yeah, that should be updated in about 20 minutes.
All right.
I think it's 2 hours for playoffs. I think during the regular season it's an hour and a half. But if the Pacers pull this off, the series over.
If they go up 3-0,
the series is over.
Dunzo. And we are looking at Pacers-Knicks, which I'm here for it. I think that series has more intrigue than Boston-Cleveland, in my mind, even though they would have been the top 2 seeds. The Knicks and the Pacers have all of the throwback energy. You have exciting players. Stylistically, it is just a
very
nasty series. But like Indiana, push pace, play the entire floor, but they're physical as all hell.
Look, man,
so is New York.
That Pacers team has like 4 Josh Harts. Seriously, like Nembhard,
Josh Hart's
Nesmith,
been so
Mathurin.
damn good too.
Did you know Josh Hart is outscoring Jason Tatum in the series against Celtics?
I am not surprised.
It's like
by
37 points to 34 on way better efficiency.
I'm not surprised by that in the slightest. He's everywhere, man.
Yeah.
He is everywhere.
I love Josh. I wish him nothing but the best. Even in his short time here, he was great. The other game tonight, Oklahoma City Thunder and Denver Nuggets. That last game was so sideways. I don't even know where to go with this. Like I don't know how to look at this game. Oklahoma City 5.5-point favorites. They're basically getting up by 50.
I just there's 2 things that aren't going to happen.
87
points in the first half, and a pedestrian offensive performance from Jokic.
Yeah.
Jokic looked like the guy that when everybody says, hey, you steal home court, you're good, he was not forcing the issue offensively like he was in game 1. He was getting mugged left and right, which I also don't think is going to happen. So I think this game kind of comes back down. But you want to talk about a coin flip? I have no earthly idea what this game is going to look like in Denver.
Yeah, I don't either. This is like there's nothing predictive about this because of the styles make fights. And speaking of unpredictable natures, sweet Jesus, what the hell is going on at North Carolina with Bill Belichick and Jordan Hudson? It is in the last 18 hours alone, the story has flipped on its head. We'll get to that next here on 1080 The Fan. Danny and Dusty. I will preface this with, I have no idea what the hell is actually going on. Now, that's true with most things, but this one specifically. In case you haven't been following along, Bill Belichick's girlfriend, 24-year-old Jordan Hudson, is kind of taken over as the voice and power behind Bill Belichick. She runs Belichick Productions.
She is in charge of all things pertaining to Bill Belichick's business dealings outside of Carolina football.
But also CC'd on all of his emails with Carolina football.
Yeah, but those are okay, a little misleading in that all of his media related emails. And that's an important one because as somebody who works with this, and this is not, by the way, this is not unique to Bill Belichick in that you have somebody outside of you who works for your media dealings outside of the football realm. Like there's other coaches that have it. Now it's not like
24-year-old smoke show.
Well, you're not dating them usually, and it's not widespread across college football. Usually in college football, like you have your assistant who works for the university too, because not all of them are Bill Belichick, which is one of the winningest coaches in NFL history and the author of several books.
Yeah, I would imagine Saban probably has the same thing going.
Yeah, probably. Probably.
Hell, his might be Miss Terry.
No, Miss Terry is a real estate mogul. We know that about
Yeah.
Miss Terry. Miss Terry is a real estate mogul. So,
And Nick is a car dealership mogul.
you're damn right. You're damn right. But absolutely, Nick Saban has that for his business interests. Like, I don't know, every Mercedes dealership in the South.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's got somebody outside of football handling that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a lot like, not having a university president be involved in sports. You don't want the car dealership guy involved in the sports.
But you have these people, so especially on the media side of things, so you have media outlets that are trying to double book, right? And be like, we already did this interview, whatever, push to the side. But I digress. This relationship is obviously weird and she has overstepped her bounds.
Yes, because the word came out that Jordan Hudson was basically barred from the University of North Carolina.
Two sources at the University of North Carolina tell me that there has been a decision, it was made last week, by the higher-ups inside the athletic department that had hired Bill Belichick to be the highest-paid public employee, not just coach, in the state of North Carolina at $10 million a year. And that decision was that Jordan Hudson is no longer allowed in the football building.
Okay.
She is not allowed on the football field.
Mm-hmm.
Quote, don't think you'll be hearing much from Jordan moving forward.
And that was Pablo Torre for Pablo Torre Finds Out. And Pablo's post-ESPN turn, he has actually done some investigative journalism that has been absolutely incredible.
Well, that's Pablo Torre, period. Like, for those that don't know about Pablo Torre, he's not just some talking head that was on Around the Horn.
Ivy League educated.
He graduated Harvard magna cum laude.
Yeah, he's a very intelligent man.
He top of his class at Harvard.
Yeah.
And he is a brilliant person, but also a very accomplished journalist. He was an investigative journalist hired right out of college to go and work for Sports Illustrated back when they did journalism. And he broke several stories, including getting the Security Exchanges Commission investigating the boxing world. Like, he is a bona fide journalist.
He has sources that other people would dream of having.
And so you take all of those things into account. Pablo Torre isn't just going to say something because he has the knowledge and really the ethics because of who he is, his education, and his track record, that he's not going to say something unless it is
triple vetted
and sourced. He said two sources high in the North Carolina football program, actually said at the top of the North Carolina football program, that she has been barred from the facility. Now, I think that maybe, and sometimes this happens, even though you talk to a couple of sources, they say, yeah, she ain't gonna be coming around. And they'd be like, so she's barred from it? And they'd be like, you're talking to a football guy, they're gonna be like, yeah, sure, whatever. She's probably not barred because North Carolina came over the top and the university was like, she's welcome into the football facilities. But basically, I think what Pablo was getting from his sources were, yeah, no, she's not going to be getting in the way anymore of anything that Bill Belichick is doing between these walls because she has become a distraction. The one thing that Bill Belichick has hated, not just as the head coach for the New England Patriots, but if you have ever watched The Two Bills, the documentary about Bill Belichick and Bill Parcells, or you've read any of his books, namely The Education of a Coach, where it talks about his upbringing around his dad who taught it or coached at the Naval Academy. It is Bill Belichick hates distractions from anything that takes the sights off of the most important thing. And the most important thing for Bill Belichick is winning football games.
Keep the main thing the main thing.
And so at this point, I do tend to believe that she's not coming around the football facility, and Bill Belichick knows his reputation is at stake here.
Pablo Torre also had this to say. One person said she, talking about Jordan Hudson, is the worst person I've ever dealt with on earth, and I've dealt with actual sociopaths. I'm not saying that is everyone. I'm just saying this story is extreme.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what happens when you're dating somebody 49 years younger than you.
You had a line during the break that was...
Yeah.
Whoa.
The age difference between Bill Belichick and Jordan Hudson is 49 years. The age difference between Jaden Fielder and his grandfather, Cecil Fielder, is 41 years. Jaden Fielder, who is now a professional baseball player in the Brewers organization, is closer in age to his grandfather than Bill Belichick is to his girlfriend.
Look,
good for him.
I mean,
God,
yeah, no, look.
Everybody criticizing this. You wouldn't?
I mean, look, she's very clearly a smoke show. Like that is what it is. But man, the more and more I look at this, the more and more it feels like that an Anna Nicole Smith redux. The story's different, but the ending feels very much the same. I don't know about Bill dying, but as far as like taking advantage of a situation.
Well, absolutely, that's what she's doing.
I mean, she was a cosmetologist and her mom runs an adult toy store.
Well, she was dating old dudes before Bill.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a pattern here.
I think she just likes old dudes.
Yeah. Were any of them broke?
I don't know about that.
Probably not.
I don't know about that, but
look, if you're willing to plug your nose and do it.
I doubt it. Maybe that's her thing.
Yeah.
Maybe that's her thing.
We don't kink shame here.
No, we don't.
No,
we don't.
We don't even say it's weird. It's just the situation of it all and how much power she's managed to just vacuum up is
fishy.
Truly incredible.
This would be the saddest way for Bill Belichick's coaching career to end, though, is if he fizzles out, is unsuccessful at North Carolina.
Sabotaged by a 24-year-old smoke show.
And it goes out like this, where the man who tried to keep everything so insulated and never let anything get out during his entire career as a head football coach in New England, that was one of, if not the most successful runs as a head football coach. It ends like this.
Yeah.
It ends like this. Oof. That would be sad. But Pablo Torre is tripling down now. North Carolina is kind of half-heartedly
vaguely saying no.
No, she's welcome around. Yeah. Like, look, it's not like she's got a restraining order. It's just that Bill just doesn't want her out of the football office anymore. It's time to get the football on.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's how they'll cast it.
Playtime's over. Bill's got to get some work done here.
It's got to go to recess.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. And then when she asks him about it, he's going to be like, it's already been addressed. It's already been addressed. Who's North Carolina play first?
Please say it's Cincinnati.
Although that would be awesome, I highly doubt it, but I'm hoping that it is. But they're in the big. We're on to TCU. We're on to TCU. We're focused on TCU.
Yeah, he needs to do that.
September 1st.
Just for the memes.
Yeah, absolutely does. We're on to the Horned Frogs.
Oh. Well, that sounds good.
Yeah.
When you say it, Horned Frogs.
Yeah.
I like it.
Follow-up question. You seem horny, Bill. Wanted to ask you about Jordan again. It's already been addressed.
Talking horned frogs, not horny toads.
Which, Well, speaking of horny toads, it's 2:30-ish, which means it's time for Jeff Russ, America's #1 new game show. We'll get to that next year. But first, here's the big Kahuna himself, the Sports Zone Update.
You mind if I have some of your tasty beverage to wash this down?
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on The Fan, the NBA playoffs continue this evening with a pair of Game 3s. First up, it's the Pacers hosting the Cavaliers, who hope to avoid a 3-0 series deficit. Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, DeAndre Hunter, all game-time decisions. 4:30 tip on ESPN. The Cavs, though, are still 5-point road favorites. Then the Thunder and Nuggets from Denver. That series tied at 1 game apiece. 7 o'clock tip on ESPN. The Nuggets are 6-point home dogs. The Mariners back at it today. They start a 3-game set hosting the Blue Jays. Luis Castillo starting for Seattle. Kevin Gausman for Toronto. 6:40 first pitch. The Mariners have won each of their last 9 series. A signature event this weekend on the PGA Tour. The Truist Championship from the Philadelphia Cricket Club. Second round play has finished for the day. Kashmir Keith Mitchell leading the way at 12 under par after a 3 under 67. Shane Lowry is 11 under. Sepp Straka 10 under. And included in those tied for fourth at 7 under par are Rory McIlroy and Colin Morikawa. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Russ from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
It's back. The 11th annual Fan Golf Classic at Langdon Farms Golf Club happens Tuesday, June 24th. Presented by your local Toyota dealers. Reserve your foursome now at 1080thefan.com.
Well, I know Jeff Russ messed with the rotator a little bit here just to just to get this to line up for him.
It's the luck of the rotator, man.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes it just shines upon you.
Yeah, it just shines upon you today, good sir, because it is Friday afternoon. It's 2:30-ish, which means it's time for Jeff Ross. America's #1 game show. Jeff Ross, take us away.
And it does feel so good. Game 3 for the Cavaliers and Pacers tonight in Indianapolis. Cleveland looking to avoid that dreaded 0-3 hole from which no NBA team has ever recovered. Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, DeAndre Hunter, all game-time decisions, at least last I looked. But they each of them participated in this morning's shoot-around. The Cavs are 5-point favorites. So that brings us to this. Cleveland has a shot in this series.
Or
they already cooked.
I'm going to say they have a shot. I just got a text from a buddy of mine in Cleveland. He said that DG's going to go. So
Darius Garland.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm going to, with Garland on the floor, that takes a lot of burden off of Donovan Mitchell, who has been Herculean in his efforts, but he was gassed at the end of game 2. They definitely have a chance with Garland and Mitchell.
They got a chance. Hold serve, steal 2 on the road, which is easier said than done with Tyrese Halliburton being 9-0 at home.
Yeah, undefeated at home in his playoff career so far.
But you got to get those 2, and they're desperate right now.
Yeah.
Second half of the ESPN doubleheader from Denver. Nuggets and Thunder all square at 1 game each. Denver eked out a Game 1 win in OKC, but were run out of the building in Game 2, and it wasn't even as close as the 43-point margin would have indicated. So Denver's playoff experience carries them to a series win.
Or
OKC is just a bad matchup for them.
I'm going to split the difference and say that OKC is just a different matchup for them, but I'm going to pick Denver to win tonight. I don't know if you guys know this. Denver plays at 5,280 feet.
Oh, no way.
What?
Yeah.
Get right the heck out of town.
Where'd you get that from?
It's just a note that I just kind of ran across when I was looking.
Is that a real stat?
Yeah.
Wow.
Never heard that before.
But it does
neither,
sap the
man.
ever-living hell out of your legs, particularly in that first quarter. And if Denver can jump on them early, I think they can win tonight. But ultimately, I think OKC is going to win this series.
I think experience does matter. I don't like either of your choices.
I didn't either. That's why I made up my own.
Yeah, well, suck it.
No, I'll go with the Thunder then. Whatever your Thunder one was, just a bad matchup.
Bad matchup for Les Nougat.
Thunder buddies for life.
That's right.
Thunder buddies for life. Tomorrow.
Don't worry. We caught the Les Nougat in there.
Tomorrow, a Madison Square Garden matinee as the Knicks hold a 2-0 lead over the Celtics. Boston, an early 5.5-point road favorite. I've seen this question posed the last day or so. This is a must-win for the Knicks to win the series.
Or
relax.
Oh, it's an absolutely must-win. Knicks go up 3-0. Bing bong. It's done. I'm taking the Knicks in the series already.
I don't think it's a must-win for the Knicks if they're going to win the series, but I think that if they do, nighty-night. The thing's over.
They're up 3-0.
Yeah.
The Celtics would have to win four in a row. Nobody's ever done it.
Yeah, but I'm not going to say like it's a must-win because if they drop this one, win the next one, they're still fine. They're up 3-1, and they need to win one of the next 3. You're all right. You're all right, man.
The nightcap tomorrow. Warriors and T-Wolves tied at 1 game each. Game 3 in San Francisco. An aggressive estimate for Steph Curry's return from a hamstring strain. It's Game 5 on Wednesday in Minneapolis. The Warriors lost by 24 last night without him. The Warriors are cooked without Chef.
Or
they'll be able to bide their time.
Cook, fried, baked, fricasseed, roasted, pan-seared, whatever you want to call it. They're done. Like, Steph ain't coming back in Game 5. There's no way he's coming. You're going to tell me a guy with a hamstring strain is going to come back after not doing anything for a week and then just play playoff basketball? Hell no. Honestly, I think the question here is how big of a line would it take for me to pick the Warriors to cover?
Yeah, I think they're cooked. They're cooked. I mean, they could...
Minerals, vitamins.
You could have all those minerals and vitamins. It ain't going to matter. Steph Curry, even limited, is an issue for this Warriors team against Minnesota. A hamstring strain? No. You're 36 years old. You ain't coming back from that in 1 week. If you're 25 years old, you're not coming back from that in 1 week.
Draymond Green picked up his 5th technical foul of the postseason, which leaves him 2 short of an automatic 1-game suspension. He is also 2 flagrant points short of a 1-game suspension in the postseason. So, Draymond.
Wait, what flagrant point? So he gets flagrant 2, then he's.
I would assume
done.
that means that's 2 points.
Yeah.
So Draymond Green earns that 1-game suspension this series, or he finds a way to behave himself.
No, he gets it this series.
I want to say he gets it this series, but this thing might be over the next 3 games. Still, he's averaging more than half a game right now. So yeah, he gets it. Yeah, he gets popped again.
Again.
How many players have been suspended in multiple seasons for accruing technical or flagrant foul points in the playoffs?
In the playoffs,
it's got to be a short.
My other
list.
guess would be like Rashid, but I don't know that it happened.
They made the rule.
They made the rule because of him,
Yeah.
and I don't think he picked up I think it happened the first year. I think he missed 1 game.
Gotcha.
But I don't think he missed any more. And I know Luka. That's the surprising one here. Luka has come very close twice.
And during the regular season, it's what, 17?
16.
16?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to move to the Diamond. Don't look now. The Mariners, a 3-game lead over the Athletics of all teams for the lead in the American League West. Seattle has won each of their last 9 series. They are 18-6 over their last 24 games. They have the 2nd best record in the American League and the 3rd best run differential in the American League. Also, they are 9-10 against teams above 500. But that leads us to this. The Mariners are a legitimate contender in the American League. Or fool's gold because this season is still so young.
It's fool's gold because it's so young and it's the Mariners.
It is fool's gold because it is way, way, way too early to make the sweeping judgments. I mean, you can make the ones about the teams that are not going to be standing at the end. We can feel very confident in the Pirates, Rockies, White Sox, Marlins not making it. But to make the contenders in the American League, I don't know, man. Yankees are pretty damn good. The Tigers and Guardians are really good. The Red Sox, watch out for them. And then, if the Astros and Rangers ever get it together with their pitching staffs, they're going to be good. I mean, the AL West especially can be turned on its head at any given moment.
Two good weeks, 2 bad weeks, and all of a sudden things.
And that's like the thing.
Well, that's kind of what happened to the Rangers too.
Like, did you see the what's it called? The betting lines for the AL MVP?
I would imagine Aaron Judge is ahead by 36,000 miles.
Aaron Judge has 1 to 10 odds to be the AL MVP. Bobby Witt Jr. is 12 to 1. You can get 6 to 1 odds on any other player but Aaron Judge to win the AL MVP.
Did you see his projections for the season?
Yeah, well, and that's crazy, but I mean, he started last week at this week at batting like 420. He's already down to 400. Like, you can have a couple of bad games, and a bad game for him right now is going 1 for 3 because he's batting 400.
Baseball Prospectus and Baseball Savant, the projections for Aaron Judge on the season: 400 average, 53 home runs, 149 RBI.
Yeah, that's pretty good,
Is that
dude.
good? Yeah.
That's all right, dude.
I mean, sweet Moses.
Well, and honestly, who would have figured at any point in this season, I don't care how young it is, you know, we could be talking 6-7 games in, who would have had the Mariners and A's as the top 2 teams in the American League West? Even like in the first week. I mean, you know, just through a couple of games.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's tough.
I mean,
yeah, I don't know.
Surprising.
Not it. Not me.
Look, if Mariners fans are out there that are mad at me, I don't dislike your team or your franchise. In fact, I like them. I want them to do well. I just don't trust them further than I can throw them.
At least they're scoring runs.
They're scoring,
which has been their bugaboo forever.
Problem is, the back end of the rotation isn't doing what it's supposed to do.
A lot of runs.
Well, starters 1 through 4 are doing great. It's that 5th starter when you got Emerson Hancock or Luis F. Castillo.
Who was it?
Emerson Hancock.
Oh, okay.
Don't do that to me, Ricky Bobby.
Just give you enough rope.
You know.
We talk for a living. One slip of the tongue is going to happen.
No, nothing.
Got anything
At
else?
least it's not the Jizz, Jazz, and Knicks again.
Oh, boy.
There you go.
Mariners, 4th most runs scored in the American League this year.
What's that run differential at?
Plus 31.
That's not bad. It's not bad.
Well,
It's the third best in the American League.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. You'll take that.
And I think if there's a reason for optimism there,
There is room for growth.
There is real room for growth there. Mariners, let's go, Ems.
Look,
Come on.
Look, I want Mariners fans.
Catch the fever.
You have long suffered. I want you to do well. Hell, if you went out and won a World Series, I'd be thrilled for you.
Yeah.
I got no beef with Mariners fans or the franchise other than their ownership and every dumb thing they've ever done.
You know what? One thing that we're sleeping on here is that we are very close to having the asshat standings in the American League West.
Ooh, are we?
Yeah, because it goes Mariners, A's, Astros, Rangers, Angels. If the Rangers go on a little skid and the Angels stumble into a few wins here, I mean, we could have, and the A's go on a run, Mariners mix it up a little bit. I mean, we're not that far from.
Explain the asshat for anybody who doesn't know.
So if you line up the American League West hats in order, and you have the A's, because it's A''S, the Mariners with the S, the Astros with the H in right there in third place, and then the Angels in fourth place with the A on their hat. The Rangers have a T. It's your ass hat division, and we could have it.
Which there could not be a more fitting acronym for the division.
Well, and
You're right.
especially in this year, too. I mean, just not even talking about baseball, but just the world around us.
Well, I mean, that division.
Lots of asshats right now.
The likelihood of that happening is so infinitesimally small.
Because the A's would have to be in first place.
Ding, 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 ding. That if it does happen, it is indeed the asshat division.
There you go.
So there you go.
All right. That's all I got.
That's the more you know.
You guys
I like
tore through
baseball.
those.
There you go. That's Jeff Russ. Oh,
Way to go, Russ.
Hey, America's #1 game show.
Get back to listening to Chuck Mangione.
You know, it's a Friday. Let's have a little bit of fun to wrap up today's show. There's a little bit of news in the sports business world that impacts fans, at least in the Phoenix area. And not the first time we've seen this, but it's positive and good news for those folks down there. We'll get to that next. We wrap up today's show on Danny and Dusty, 10 a.m. The Fan. When Matt Ishbia bought the Phoenix Suns, he also bought the Phoenix Mercury, the WNBA side of the Suns sale there. And last year, Ishbia instituted the $2 value menu where you could get a hot dog, a 16-ounce water, fountain soda, bag of chips, or popcorn, each for $2. That same deal is now transferring over to the WNBA and the Phoenix Mercury. Now, Matt Ishbia has done everything he can to try to garner favor and bring fans in. Despite being one of the largest markets in the country, in the Phoenix metro area, there's not a huge engaged fan base for what you would expect it to be. And so they've kind of done everything they can, whether it's the over-the-air TV network or trying to lower prices and concessions, anything they can do to bring more people into the fold, they've really pushed that.
When Robert Sarver was your previous owner, I can see why fans would be alienated by him.
One of the cheapest owners in all of sports, also a horrible human being.
Mm-hmm. Not good. When you said the WNBA, that just reminded me of one of the things that the takedown piece by Baxter Holmes of Robert Sarver, when it was my favorite part of it, when Diana Taurasi had her retirement ceremony, or no, not her retirement, but they had something for her to named her the GOAT, and they brought a live goat to an event.
Oh,
and
God,
then he
that's
put
right.
the goat in the general manager's office, and the general manager came back from the weekend, and there was goat poop all over
And the place just tore up
his office.
because goats just destroy everything.
They eat everything. Destroyed the office, ate the furniture, ate papers, and pooped all over.
Look,
great guy.
In the grand scheme, funny for a short period of time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like popcorn in the car kind of a deal. It's like, yeah, it can be damaging. It's a rite of passage and like messing with somebody. Look, I get it. But also, over the weekend, dog?
Yeah. Yeah, that's not good.
That's where the shenanigans go from cheeky and fun to just downright cruel.
Yeah, yeah. But $2, I mean, Arthur Blank did this first in
Atlanta,
taking a page out of the Masters playbook with their new stadium. And everybody's like, well, it can't be done. Just can't be done. It can be done.
It's easier to do in the NFL because of the volume, because you can get the volume discounts.
But you're also you have 41 home dates in the NBA. Like you can do it and you can move that volume. You got to get people through the doors though. And people will go through the doors if they're not getting ripped off every time they come into the arena.
No, 100%.
Like I that is something that I just always the sticker shock when you go to an arena and you see how much they're charging. It's ridiculous and it's not necessary.
Beers is insane.
It's not necessary, and it sucks.
Look, I like
it sucks for fans.
that the Blazers have brought in like higher end restaurants and stuff like that, which you pay a little bit more for. I like having that option, but having like 2 concessions on basically each level of something like this, it's something I think that every team needs to look into doing.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
not just for family nights, just like every game.
Yeah, every single game have some sort of discounted items that people can not get just
so it doesn't
raked
cost
over
you
the coals.
$300-400 to take the family to a game.
So total attendance NFL last season in stadiums 18.63 million. NBA 22.3.
God, that's crazy. That it's that close with that fewer games.
Yeah. But it's like
helps playing in those big stadiums.
But more people come through the doors in the NBA, and if volume is the thing, I know the games are spread out, but you can still move product
units. Yeah,
your popcorn, soda, dude, hot dogs.
Those 2 things in particular, popcorn and soda, those are cheap,
and you can keep them the entire season. Yeah. You can order in volume and keep those things. Like the whole idea that, oh, no, you just can't do it. Come on. Yeah, you can.
Yeah, hell, the Blazers provide us with popcorn and drinks at halftime every game.
Well, yeah, media.
Oh,
yeah.
That's not a normal thing around the league anymore.
That's ridiculous.
A lot post-COVID, a lot of food for media disappeared.
Yeah. Well,
around the league.
I think the rest of professional sports needs to pick up what the Falcons and the Suns and Mercury are doing.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. All right. we do have an update. Fan Golf Classic, as of 2 p.m. today, there are only 2 foursomes available in the afternoon round. 2. So if you want to play in the afternoon round, you better do it now. AM round still has a handful of spots available. So make sure that you get your foursome sign up for the 11th Annual Fan Golf Classic. All right, that does it for us. We'll see you Monday from noon to 3. Draft Lottery Day. Up next, you got 4 hours of power there. Miles to your ears. Primetime with Isaac and Sue.
Bye.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant,